Hey everybody, welcome back to another Overwatch analysis video. Now, if you are new to the channel, you might not be aware of this. I did used to do, and I say used to do, I did like 3 or 4 Overwatch League analysis videos where I'd like go over an interesting match, or at least a match I found interesting, and just see how like the game was being played, with the view honestly to improve myself, and maybe if someone was, completely new to the game, never seen it before, trying to explain like some of the things that were happening and my theories behind some of it. Now, I stopped doing it before because honestly it's a lot of work to do, especially at the end. I know it wasn't great quality, but the quality I did for that, I honestly burnt myself out on it a bit, so I decided after that to take a little bit of a chill, and Overwatch League is now finished, so I was like, okay, what Overwatch can I get now, get my fill of Overwatch, my little like addiction. And I've been watching some of the contenders, especially Contenders Korea. The reason partially for this is you see a lot of people going to, the Twitch streamers chats of Overwatch channels and go, oh, what's the meta right now? Because there's just been a recent mid-season patch. What's the meta? What's the meta? And they're like, yeah, we don't know. The ladder meta is very different from the ranked meta, but the only, true source of the meta is, the professional scene. Now, OWL is not on at the moment. It's on their off-season. However, Contenders is still running, and Contenders Korea is normally seen as, the pool of up-and-coming new talent that's going to join the Overwatch League. So it's normally a good indicator of roughly what a meta is going to be, and what good players you're expecting to come from it. The game I've picked, which will be in the title, so again, and it's going to have spoilers for this result, is a game between Panthera and SPG. I'll let this start running now. Now, these teams finished the season, so this game is from match week 8 of 9, and they finished the season 2nd and 3rd, so, pretty high up there. I didn't pick O2 Blast, who honestly are the runaway best team in this region right now. I would expect a lot of their roster to be picked up by OWL teams, but because they're just so dominant, it's hard to really, see any adjustments from it. Honestly, in some of the games, O2 Blast kind of looked like they were just memeing, and they were just so much more, mechanically talented than some of the other teams that it just didn't matter. But this was an interesting game. This is your 2nd and 3rd best teams. Really good players, don't get me wrong. These aren't bad teams, but they're not O2 Blast level. But I was expecting this to be a really close series. Now, part of the reason, as I said, I wanted to look at this game as well is there's an interesting little meta happens with the tanks during this game. Now, everyone will have been aware, the previous patch, the first season of the first half of the first season on the ladder, Zarya dominated. She was super strong. You occasionally saw a bit of Winston towards the end, but she honestly took over. Zarya, I don't know exactly what patch the contenders are running on, but I'm pretty certain it's on the Zarya nerfed patch. I think it is the most recent one they're playing on right now. And there's been a little bit of, up in the air about who is the strongest tank. Now, to get an idea of where the strongest tank sits, you have to look at the strongest heroes and who is the hero you're going to build your team around. And there are 2 nominations for this, in my opinion. The first one, and let me get this fancy little pen app out right now. The first one, Sojourn. She is by far and away the strongest DPS there is right now. I'd even make an argument this is one of the few times a DPS has ever dictated the meta. She is so strong, especially at the highest of high levels. Now, this does rely on you hitting your right clicks fairly often, but if you're a great sniper player, then she can do disgusting things. She can pump out damage Soldier, and she can pick Widow. She just has the best of both worlds. Her dash is probably one of the best, if not the best movement ability in the game. The acceleration you get on it is truly crazy. You can get out of insane situations. It's so hard to die Sojourn because she just, jumps away, slides off, jumps away to high ground, and, you just stood there, smiling at her. One of the few heroes that could get onto was Winston, so we did see a lot of Winston at the end of Owl in particular, because Winston, could force a leap off Kiriko, then someone else could jump on her. If you had Primal, you could leap on her, then you get a Primal with another jump reset, so you could actually put pressure on the Sojourn. The other hero I'd say that's causing a great deal of, it's basically the fulcrum of the meta, Kiriko. Very strong hero as well. Mainly because her ultimate is busted. Probably the best ultimate in the game right now. It's actually, at the very highest level, I imagine it's a bit of a trade-off between these two heroes, who has the best ult. Very good Sojourns conceivably could get, a 3k, a 2k with her ultimate, which in 5v5, that's 40% of your team, just wiped out by this ultimate. And it's kind of hard to, avoid. You basically just run away from it. Kiriko... Imagine Kiriko ult as I've nanoed the entire team. That is what Kiriko ult is. It's so powerful. It's hard to underestimate it. And there is an important factor about the ultimate. Firstly, your fire rate goes up. Sorry, bad arrow. Let me fix it. There you go. Your fire rate goes up. Secondly, your cooldowns. So fire rate, cooldowns go down. This is a pretty big one, because there are some heroes that don't get a huge benefit from the Kiriko ult. I'd say Widow is one of those examples. It doesn't really matter if you get a cooldown reduction. Your fire rate up is pretty nice, but the cooldown reduction doesn't matter that much. You get to grapple more. Big whoop. A hero that does benefit hugely off this, and we did see a lot again in the end of Owl, especially when Winston was being played a lot, Reaper. Fire rate up on Reaper means that you can just obliterate people, especially with his ultimate, where the fire rate goes up on the ultimate as well. It was like the old Beyblade meta. But also the cooldown reduction is really nice, because Reaper can Wraith form, reloads his gun, so he was just constantly pumping out damage. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you enjoy playing Kiriko Sojourn in your games, Sojourn is one of those heroes that gets a huge buff from the fire rate up and the cooldown off. Being able to slide more is decent, that's your survivability. But also her slow, which I didn't even discuss, is disgusting in a team-based environment. To slow people going across, like a choke, for example, trying to run across, just increases your chance to kill. And its AoE damage builds up your ult quickly. It's very disgusting. And these combined make Sojourn very good with Kiriko. And you're basically going to see throughout this, you're always going to see a Kiriko and a Sojourn. Now, with that, you often see the Lucio as well. And this, again, is a bit of survivability reasons, but also Lucio gets a pretty decent boost off the Kiriko as well. Using multiple boops can, split people up. Fire rate up on Lucio. Lucio's at this level can put out disgusting damage. They're both pretty good. The other thing that means that Lucio gets played a lot is the sound barrier. It's actually a pretty good answer to the Kiriko ult. You just need some instant health, instant survivability, and sound barrier is one of the best ults for that. I'd probably rate it up there as one of your top 5, if not top 3 ults in the game. And you can't really counter it. The only counter to it is interrupting the sound barrier from going off, which at this level is pretty hard. The Lucios have nice little tricks. For example, if a Lucio was trying to do a sound barrier in this area, I don't know why, but let's just say this is the case. They will have a spot where the sound barrier, you jump into the air, and the sound barrier goes off when you land. So what they'll do is they'll jump onto a higher point, so the sound barrier goes off quicker. They all know these little niche spots around the map. Route 66 first is another one of them where that ramp going up, you can sound barrier onto it pretty easily. And yeah, this is I'd say this is the backbone of a lot of teams right now. Now, the interesting thing comes, as I said, and it's kind of why I want to do this video, is what tank do you pick? Zarya isn't in a terrible spot, but she's not as strong as before. She hasn't got permanent bubble uptime anymore. And when Zarya hasn't got a bubble up, she's just, a walking target. She has low HP, she's pretty squishy. It's no bueno. So you'd think then that Winston would be the number one choice. We saw a lot of Winston. He was pretty good. However, the problem now with Winston is, as I said, people were running the Reaper, and the Reaper is pretty good into the Winston. But also there was this variation. Teams started to run Hog, and you may have seen, again, streamers say oh no, it's going to be Hog meta on the ladder. And that might be the case. The main reason that they're picking Hog is, to be honest with you, There are not a lot of tanks that can survive Sojourn, and Hog is one of the few ones that can. Sure, you're peppering the Hog, but you can just always vape and heal it off. Secondly, he works very well with Kiriko. His ultimate is the highest, I think it's the highest damage ultimate in the game. Again, don't quote me. It's this or Barrage. I think they're both the same, but I could be wrong. Maybe Barrage does a little bit less. I think this actually pumps out potentially 5,000 damage, but the problem is the knockback is so great that you can't ever get this damage off. However, if you get a rate of fire increase on the ultimate, you can pump out more pellets faster, and you can just obliterate people with the Hog Kiriko combo. There are counters to it, but it's pretty rough. Secondly, cooldown reduction. Who has got some of the best cooldowns in the game? It's this guy. It's Roadhog. Being able to hook more often, especially at this level, hooking a squishy is probably going to be a one-shot kill for most heroes, is very powerful. It's pick potential. And, as I said, the one reason that Hog can survive through Sojourn's damage is that he has his heal. His cooldown reduction on the heal means he gets a damage reduction too. When he heals, he builds up ult charge. It's like a self-contained cycle, so Roadhog is pretty good. Also, he's very good into Winston because he can just blow up bubbles. He's very good at shield break. And because Hog can be a threat, it kind of means that Winston, you know, really struggles into it. So there's this little cat and mouse game at the moment where, and it's a bit of a spoiler to how this is going to come out, Hog kind of counters the Winston, but then you might say, okay, well, what counters the Hog? And teams have looked at playing Sigma instead, because then you have a shield to potentially block the hook, and Hog can't get as much value. Also, one of the counters to, you know, Hog's ult is just eating it with Sigma's Jazz Hands. So you'll see through this game a lot of tank variations, a lot of tank swapping, and it's a really interesting aspect of the game. Anyway, enough waffle, let's get down to business. Now, after saying all of this, you may be noticing, firstly, that there is a pause straight away. We'll skip through some of that. You'll notice straight away that SPG are not doing any of this. Let's get them out of the gate properly first. Okay, we've had the changes now. So we have on Panthera... Why is my quality so bad as well? Let me pump this up to full quality. Apologies, I don't know why it was at 480. You'll notice that SPG are not running the normal. They're running Junker Queen, who basically, I would honestly argue Junker Queen right now is the worst tank in the game. Even below Doomfist, because she has so little value. Kind of the value on this hero really is in the Commanding Shout. And when they nerf the Commanding Shout, the hero kind of falls off a cliff. We did see in Owl, I think it was in the 3rd season of Owl, a Junker Queen meta where she was played with Lucio and Brigitte. The comp had a lot of AoE healing, but, as I said, since the Commanding Shout got brought down a little bit, she's not in a good place. Also, her ultimate is basically an AoE anti-nade with bleed on it, and this is very easily cleansed by Kiriko, so you can trade an ultimate for a cooldown. Well, the powerful thing about Kiriko, she can give you invulnerability. She's very strong. Also, she's hard to dive, by the way, because, you know, she can teleport as well. I should really mention Kiriko more, but these two heroes are very strong. Very, very strong. But anyway, SPG are running out with this Junker Queen. Junker Queen, honestly, kind of think of her like somewhat of a Reinhardt. She kind of wants to brawl. She wants to be close ranged. Now, this point, Night Market, very good for brawling. If you can get to the point first, especially with a Mei, which is that other pick, who I argue is one of the worst DPS as well right now, you can wall off one of the doorways and just force them coming into you on point. Wall someone in if they come in, trap them, Junker Queen can start smashing them around. It's pretty nice for us. You can fight pretty close. You can force people to come to the point. They still keep this Sojourn. They still keep this Lucio Kiriko. To be fair, you kind of have to run the Lucio with the Junker Queen. They're kind of, honestly, a lovely partner. A bit like Ryan and Lucio to close the gap. If you don't have a Lucio to speed your Junker Queen around, it's hard to hit axes, harder to get the self heal off the bleed. It just makes it way worse. On the other side, we've got the comp that I was kind of talking about, plus supplemented with a Tracer. Tracer is another hero that benefits greatly off Kiriko's ultimate. You get more blinks. Well, your blink comes back on cooldown faster, so you effectively get more blinks through the ultimate. And I don't know if they're running with this on the patch. I think they are. there's kind of a stealth buff slash bug to Tracer that she has not got the damage fall off working correctly right now, so she can shoot from further away. So Tracer's actually pretty strong right now, kind of disgustingly strong, honestly. But anyway, these are the two comps, and this is going to catch Panthera off guard, because this is really, really weird. So they've seen now the Junker Queen. She has the knife as well to disrupt people. You can see here immediately what I talked about. The doorways. The little chokes on this map. Great Wall from Top Dragon. Walling off Protect. Roadhog does not like to be run down. He hasn't got a great movement ability. He kind of just, vapes and runs away. Trying to wall him off. Commanding Shout from 2 gives everyone a speed buff. They're all like, listen, we're going to kill Protect on cooldown. He's the big threat on this team. Him just existing means that they have this great pick potential, ignoring the Sojourn as well. And also, there's no one on Panthera's team who really wants to just sit on the point on their own. Tracer can touch it, they can contest it, but it's really going to be Protect who's going to be mainly on this. If you deal with the tank, you kind of deal with the point pressure. This has caught, as I said, this weird comp has caught Panthera off guard. Okay, so Protect sees this, does well, runs away, but still gets completely obliterated. And this, honestly, at this level, this is fight over. Losing your tank, you just have to wait. And now we get our first change. So Protect decides, hang on a minute, this isn't Winston, this isn't Sigma. This is a Junker Queen. Let's go Orisa instead. Orisa, harder to pull around. You can't really run her down that well because she has so many invulnerability abilities that if you do, nothing happens. Either way, as I said, this comp eventually starts to pop off. If you're still on the point into Sojourn, you're always running the risk of getting headshots. It's a bit like playing into your Widow. At some point, you're going to be in their sightlines. And unlike Widowmaker, who, slows down when she's strafing to shoot a fully charged shot, Sojourn doesn't have that. She can move at full speed. So she can really just come out of nowhere and just kill someone suddenly. It's very hard to play against. Anyway, Orisa happy enough to stand on the point. 2U does really well here. By the way, this is the same 2U who used to be on Soul. He's an off-tank tank, classically. Protect is also classically an off-tank player. But obviously now, there's no real thing as an off-tank or a main tank. You are just the tank now, so you have to learn all of them. Anyway, Protect runs down 2U. And SPG somehow win this fight, despite getting picked first. I actually want to go back and look at some of this again. How does this flip? What is the big change? I think it's this pick onto Lego. Well, it's who gets hidden as well. It might be a bit of both, just a really nice outplay. Let's slow us down. Playback speed, 0.5. So Top Dragon gets picked. They run into point. 2U hits a knife and just gets obliterated. What else hits him? I think it might be a headshot of 2U. Yeah, it's a shotgun shot. Gets pulled in, dragged into the Sojourn, missed, and gets shot down. So this is the 1-for-1 trade, but unlike Panthera, who lose their Sojourn, who's a huge source of their damage, their biggest source of damage is coming off the Sojourn, SPG kept their Sojourn, and therefore they have the advantage. Lego also gets completely obliterated on the entry. He's 1 health already. Where does he go? Again, it'd be really nice with the replay view just to see all of this. I think he wall rides along the left wall, but I'm not entirely certain. He might go for a boot play. And I think he gets headshot by a Kiriko or something, because his health just disappears. Yeah, he gets headshot there by a Kiriko, so Lee Sumin makes a pretty good outplay. Then kills them. Now you're losing your AoE healing. Sojourn. Kiriko can't keep everyone up anymore. And it's honestly fight over. Top Dragon's respawning. We're probably chunking out the spawn right now. Sanguinar drops low as well. I guess he's fighting the Tracer right now. Nice play from Protect, but it's too little too late. He pushes forwards, he's used Fortify to gain entry. And now he only has, you know, he has none of his abilities. He literally popped all of his abilities to get in there, put pressure on the Junker Queen. And that was it. I guess the reason for running Orisa into Junker Queen is, again, Junker Queen doesn't really want to be run down. She does have speed abilities. But Orisa's twirling baton is a speed ability as well, so she can always catch up. And Orisa has the stun as well, which is pretty good onto this map. So I think it's just that they can close the gap onto the Junker Queen, stop her from, you know, running away, waiting for a shout. You can just run her down. Addy's just free to, you know, shoot whoever he wants now. He's just ass blasting the Orisa. And they get the other Kiriko as well. Kind of weird how they all split up, but it's so hard to see without the replay viewer, and that Kiriko can teleport around, that I think some of the team was over here. I could be wrong though, maybe the Lucio also came over here. Maybe the supports dove their supports, I'm not entirely certain. But they were pretty split at the end. Nice is being a little bit sussy right now. Addy somehow jumps over here, doesn't see Nice, who again was also on an L team, by the way. I think he was on Defiant, right? Kind of a weird hero pool and Nice, by the way. He plays Tracer, I think, for most of this series, but he plays a lot of projectile DPS. You often have a specialist Tracer player, and for Panthera, he's kind of their Tracer player. But he does have a history of playing it. Anyway, they regroup, and we're back to this death ball again. If you're running a Lucio, and this again will count for anyone for low ranks, and I've moaned about this in games before when I've been climbing back up again from Silver as I got put there. If you're playing Lucio, you have to play fairly close to the Lucio. If you're not getting healed. Also, the speed boost, pretty fucking good. I mentioned that Sojourn can, you know, strafe around at normal speed with her fully charged shots. One way to get away from this quickly and, you know, reduce the kill time that Sojourn has is speed. Anyway, Sojourn is just poking right now. Just trying to get a fully charged shot, or even, sorry, I think the full kill's on an 84 charge, right? 84 charge headshot is a kill for a 200 HP hero. So they tried to get around this 84 mark, and they will hold the charge. Sojourn holds the charge, by the way, for like 8 seconds. So if you get the charge, and you know, it's a difficult shot, sometimes be patient, just wait a little bit, and a better shot might open up for you. Again, Protect runs on. I think the shout has already been used now. Did it get used? Or does 2U hold this? Let's look again. Yeah, 2U uses it there. Gets pushed, shouts. Typically, I would say as a Junker Queen, you want to use your shout to go on the aggressive. It always feels really bad when you're using your shout for defensive purposes. If you find you're doing that in a game, it's normally time to swap off. Again, I wouldn't really recommend picking Junker Queen right now. She's in a pretty bad state. But she got forced by Protect. Did he fortify and baton then? He definitely batoned. I think he's fortified to escape. So, Toyu tries to get, you know, some hits in. But she can't bleed the Orisa now because she's in Fortify. Gets smacked around. But again, they're burning time off the clock. It's so hard to displace this team. It's like a great death ball. Lucio, Mei, Junker Queen, you don't want to get close to that. Nice whiffs a bit of a pulse bomb. He tries to pulse bomb the Mei in Ice Block. The Ice Block's a little bit of time. Toyu gets a kill on Hidden again. Which really shouldn't be happening at this point. Let me just go back and see how this happens. Because this is basically the key point of this fight. As soon as you lose your Sojourn in this comp, you're kind of screwed. So yeah, Ice Block from Top Dragon. Nice pulse bombs it. Toyu just doesn't give it. Oh, Kiriko ult, that's why. So they're speeding with Kiriko ult. They get insane damage increase. Toyu, by the way, with Junker Queen, pretty good with the Kiriko ult. You get more axe swings, more knife throws. just runs down hidden. And they didn't get their sound barrier yet. They've honestly not had a lot of chance to heal. Normally when you're on the... normally when you're losing fights, you're gaining more support charge. That's kind of like the playoff between the two. One team's DPS, maybe tank, will get their ult charge, but they wouldn't get as much healing. The other team will get more healing, but less DPS charge. Unfortunately, support's been picked off early. Flego got picked up early last fight. Hidden got basically just fully picked, so Kiriko didn't have a chance to heal. So they're way behind. And yeah, they're just going to stay as this death ball. Look at their team right now. This is all 5 members of the team, literally here. You don't need to do these like wild flanks sometimes, especially if you're doing like Lucio brawling comps. You want to be all together. Like, so often you see like a Reaper, you know, TPing up here, doing like the little meme plays. Your team's like running around coast or something. They're over here. They get picked and it's like, oh, we're 1 down now. If you're, again, Lucio Deathball, just fucking stay together. Just run down the person who's the slowest. It's kind of interesting though that they've gone on the Sojourn 2 times. Because, like I said, one of the reasons why Deathball's not good, especially Ryan, who do you run on onto the Panthera comp? Kiriko can teleport, Lucio wall rides and he's, you know, faster. Or at least as fast as an equivalent Lucio. Sojourn can dash. Tracer's blink and recall. It's really only the Orisa, and the Orisa can stay alive for a fairly long time with both Fortify and Twirly Baton, and ult as well. Well, this is just clean up now. As I said, picking up the Sojourn immediately was just the fight victory. And now SPG have beat for the Panthera push when they get their Kiriko ultimate. They have Junk Queen. Very efficient fight win there. 1 ultimate to win the fight. You love to see it. Well, unless you're a Panthera fan. Right. 2 is just desperately trying to build up their ult. Another wall. I think this is just to block a sight line. But it's hard to see. Again, look at Orisa right now. She is on the point into 5 players deathballing. Look at her health. She's take a minor little bit of tick of damage. Now, Orisa's ultimate, pretty good into comps without shield, especially deathball comps, because, you know, they're going to be balling together. Panthera pop the Orisa ult, they pop the Sojourn ultimate, they immediately get the Kiriko, and as I said, Sojourn's at this level with their ult. It's disgusting. It wasn't the worst fight for SPG, forced out a tank ult, a DPS ult, but they did use their DPS ult as well. And this comp is much better on the defense than pushing into it. Again, just trying to build up 80 charge as fast as possible. Great play here, by the way. They're like, okay, Sojourn, you've used your dash now. We're just going to race you down. Lucio is amp speeding probably at this point. Tuyu has done his commanding shout for more speed. The Sojourn just can't get away from it. They've identified that there's no point attacking the Orisa. Like, we can't kill the Orisa fast enough. However, we can 100% kill the Hidden after the slide. And this map is one of those maps, again, where there's not a lot of high ground. So unless Hidden is dashing back up to high ground, you will run them down eventually. Like, the slide is on a 6-second cooldown, which is honestly ridiculously fast. Somehow as well, Lego gets picked in all of this. It's too late for Protect. Really bad ult from Off, in my opinion. But it's kind of like a necessity at this point. So I guess it's not a bad ult. It's 95% ult charge. You lose if you don't ult. So she goes for it. Or he goes for it. Sorry. There's a Blizzard as well, just to split the Orisa off. Orisa's now used all their cooldowns. Chase the Orisa down. We don't fucking give a shit about the point. You get this point percentage. What we care about is killing your slowest heroes as fast as possible. And now we'll take the point, because we want you to run into us. Now, this is a little niche play. I really like this. It's a kind of a small synergy on certain maps with Mei plus Junk Queen. You just saw their top dragon walled off this door. The Junk Queen ultimate, you know, you dash forwards, and in a fairly big AoE around you, you anti everyone and you bleed everyone. Now, one way to get away from this is to, you know, split up, be in a large arc. And the Panthera comp, admittedly, can do this pretty well. They can just take multiple angles and shoot you from multiple angles, which can be very annoying for Deathball. This is why they have to play aggressive as this comp. You cannot play it defensively. Eventually, you'll get poked down by this mess of, you know, damage. So they're being proactive. They're chasing kills. They're chasing the... Even on the defense, they've been chasing the Sojourn. They've been chasing the Orisa. They're just putting pressure on. But anyway, getting back to this. It can be, you know, countered by this arc. But if they're forcing them to the point, which is the case, they have to come to the point right now, which I'll admit is part of the combo, and you wall off one side, even though they didn't wall anyone in, everyone has to come through this door now. The enemy team is forced into this door, which means you get massive value from the ultimate of Junk Queen. And that's what's going to happen here. Straight through. Only hits 2, but I think there was only like 2 people here at that point anyway. The important thing is you hit the Lucio. Lego doesn't even get the sound barrier. Hidden is going to die now as well. Doesn't want to be on the point. And now Panthera are adjusting, you know, try and get as much time as possible. Lego ults the spawn because they know it's over. In their heart of hearts, it's over. And that's the first point for SBG. I'll admit this was kind of, you know, it was just out of nowhere. Sometimes surprising a team with a kind of off-meta pick can be really good, but you need to coordinate with it. I know in the ladder, again, you can't get the same level of coordination, but just using some common sense, like as I said, Lucio, Junk Queen, they want you to play close. So don't pick Pharaoh with that comp, because Pharaoh's not going to get heals with it. That type of thing. And now this has got Panthera, you know, making just... They have to question what's going to happen. Like, are they going to run the same comp again? Or are they going to run something normal? So, Panthera now second guesses this. They go into, like, a mixed comp in case they're running the Junk Queen. They go straight out with the Orisa comp. They go out with a Mei as well, which is admittedly pretty good at Control Center. They're running the BAP instead of the Kiriko BAP. Pretty good with Junk Queen. It's also nice to have your other immortality ability, the Lamp, and the ultimate of Baptiste, pretty good with a poke comp. If you can get a window in front of Sojourn, you can do some pretty disgusting things. Also, map pretty close. The shift on Baptiste is a close range AoE, instant heal. It's pretty good. I like running BAP here. Anyway, they're expecting, you know, some brawly type comp. And no, SBG comes out on the Winston comp, the Winston Reaper comp. And Reaper fucking shreds the Orisa comp. So they're in a little bit of trouble. Also, BAP can't heal through, you know, shields. Winston has got one of the best shields in the game right now. Immediately Panthera are wrapping around, they're trying to get on the supports, because they don't really want to, you know, they don't want to take the poke for starters. Because I said before when SPG were death brawling, you don't really want to take poke into the comp. It's hard to heal it back off. And especially with the Baptiste, you can get an instant heal, but it's a little bit sketchy. Anyway, SPG have got prime positioning. Now Orisa has to come to the point because the objective is unlocked. It's going to be hard to get the Orisa off the point. She fortifies, she's twirling batons. Sanguinar, 1 HP, just lives. But now Orisa has nothing, and Reaper is going to go to town. More inf. Like, look at the ult charge right now. The ult charge on Sojourn, especially, very powerful. Admittedly, the Mei got pretty good value on Nice, 80% to a Blizzard. Gets pick on Sanguinar, but they've just been focusing Protect down. Like, it's really interesting how they, like, take this apart. Because a lot of people, you know, go, like, oh, go on the supports. You can blow up one person with 5. It's so easy to do like 1,000 damage or something. And they've recognized that if they kill Orisa, there's no one else really on Panthera who wants to be on the point. Mei can be as like a slight off-tank type thing, but she's not actually a tank. And now 2's free to do whatever he wants. They've killed the Orisa, bubbled them off. Bap couldn't just stay away, and they're just getting slowly murdered. And immediately this is like, okay, we have to change. So they trade away. Look at the ult charge here. I mean, the Mei ults because immediately Nice is like, I don't want to push back into this with a Mei. The Mei wall is going to get broken super quickly by Reaper Sojourn. Like, it's going to be a second. So they solo Blizzards, basically nobody in the end. Which isn't really a solo Blizzard, but they just throw away the ult. Which actually is a bit of a throw play from Nice, to be honest with you. I guess they were just trying to get an exit kill. In fact, let me look at this again. Who did he try and Blizzard? I have no idea. I guess the Reaper, they tried to get Top Dragon, but got killed as they threw the ult. They were already dead by the time it started going off. Because if you swap now, there's obviously the buff to the heroes that they get to keep 30% of their ult charge. It means Nice is now not starting on any ult charge. And they're like, okay, we want the counter comp to the Winston, so we're going to get the Roadhog. Roadhog breaks Winston's shield very easily. He's also a pretty big threat to the Reaper as well, by the way. Because if you can get a hook on the Reaper, you can just kill his ass, and that's a big part of the SPG damage done. The other reason why Reaper is played a lot with Winston is Reaper can also, like Winston, you know, where he shield dances, Reaper can do it as well. So it's a pretty good tool to keep Reapers alive. But without the shield and with the hook threat, you have to be a little bit careful on the Reaper. Which normally, if you're a bit more careful, means you're doing less damage. Anyway, SPG again, they're being very proactive. Chase down this hog, put bubbles on him. They also have a massive ult advantage. This is something they recognized. If you see massive swaps from the enemy team, run it down at them. You're going to get your ults up first, and then start murdering. Lee Sumin pops the Kiriko ult as well. Where do you get this popped? I think it's as they're chasing the hog, right? Yeah. So they get it here, and fighting into the Kiriko ult is just impossible. They realize they don't have beat. And it's a fight win. One ult, fight win. That's the Kiriko ult. Very strong. If you're going into it dry, you're gonna lose. Again, maybe things differ on the ladder, especially at lower ranks. And it's a little bit scrappy from Panthera now. They haven't reset. Off is greeding back a little bit. Oh, by the way, I should have mentioned this at the very start about some of the heroes and the pools. Off is a very interesting example if you're not aware of any contenders. So, Off used to be an off-tank player, and this season has swapped to be basically the flex support player. So he's kind of like a support tank hybrid. So this isn't his main role, so to speak, or at least it wasn't his main role. So I think there has been a little bit of questions on the quality of Off, but I think he does pretty well in this game. Other than that, we have two classical off-tanks. Top Dragon is normally a Genji player. He does play other projectile heroes. Addy is fairly strong hit scan with a bit of Tracer. Nice is projectile plus Tracer. Hidden is snipers, mainly. Lego is what was classed with main support, like Lucio type thing. Sanguinar used to be an owl with the London Spitfire and is also a main support type player. But both of these guys can play a little bit of BAP as well because, you know, in the past and in the present, you do sometimes see Zen BAP comps, and often your Lucio player will play the BAP. But that's just a bit of background on the players. This is also a nice position to control as SPG. Controlling white, it's a decent amount of, you know, protection. You have like cover here, cover on the right-hand side as well. You force people to come through the choke if they want to take it. And if they go into the point, you have a slight bit of high ground. You can also always go back to the Mega as well if you desperately need to. Again, like, where is Off in all of this? There's definitely some variance in Kiriko plays, by the way. Some people are super aggressive in Kiriko. Others are less so. So there's Off. Off does some wall riding. And by wall riding, I guess I mean wall climbing. Looks like they're trying to TP at this point. And Are just obliterates them. So they ult and they kill with a body shot, not a headshot. So this was the Sojourn ult that got the kill. But just like their entire team is on the outside right now, except for Sanguinar, right? He was inside as well. No, it's Nice. So Sanguinar speeding people, not Sanguinar, Lego, sorry, wrong team. Lego is speeding, hitting around to the Mega. Because he's about to get the Sojourn ult and you want to have a little bit of cover. You have the Mega here. It's pretty nice to get your Sojourn onto this high ground if you can contest white. And equally, it's pretty nice to get your tank around here as well, so they can play around this central pillar. It's a fairly nice way to poke in. But I don't know if, like, Off should really be here. It's super aggressive. I think he's just trying to push a lot of damage, then TP back. But he bites off too much than he can chew. Nice also, and I mentioned this before when I said, like, you know, the tank obviously is the one that typically wants to contest the objective. But Trace is extremely good at this. Probably a little bit better on payload maps. But Trace can just sit on here, has incredible survivability, can force the objective. And at some point, SPG has to leave white to go to the point. And that's something that Trace can really do. She can disrupt the team. But SPG are just deathball. They're like, okay, if one of us is going, we're all going. We're chasing anyone down. Like, you're not seeing Top Dragon do some, like, insane flanks. He's just stuck with his tank. They're like going, we're killing this target, run with me. Killing the Kriko again, fight win. Luso heals on his own, not enough to sustain the fight. Better to reset and get, you know, a full 5v5 fight. Also, in their perspective, they got out the Sojourn ultimate. So they lose the fight, but only had one player picked. And they traded it for a Sojourn ultimate. So they're soon about to get the ult advantage. Here is what I mentioned before. You have to be super careful as the Reaper. Protect instantly picks them. They had Death Blossom. That was their main win condition. They were so close to the beat as well. Which they probably would have used into the Sojourn ult. But now they're in trouble. They've basically gone into Let's Survive mode. They've gone back to the point. They're playing a little bit defensive. They gave up white. And they're kind of trying to bait out ultimates out of Panthera. There's the Sojourn ultimate. Whole Hog as well. Sanguinar beats to give him a bit more time. The Primaling for a little bit more time. They're basically trading these two ults for objective time. With the view that if they can draw the fight out long enough, Top Dragon is going to get back eventually. Reaper is a fairly fast hero to get back to the point, especially on this point. And they're about to get the Kriko ultimate. I think this is the second Kriko ultimate SPG has had before Off even got his first one. So there goes the Kriko ultimate. Here comes Reaper. Here's a bubble to protect him. He's looking for a Death Blossom with the Kriko ult because it does insane damage. Protect, double pick. But they did force the Kriko out. So Panthera in this fight used, I guess, Pulse Bomb at some point. They used Sojourn. They used Whole Hog. They used Beat. And they used Kriko. They used their full 5 ultimates for this. Now, SPG did use 3 of theirs. They ended up saving the Death Blossom by virtue of the fact that Protect killed him. But nice play from Protect. I think there's a lot of teams, or at least I'd heard teams were looking at Protect. I don't know exactly how old he is. But he seems pretty solid, especially on his Hog. And this is pretty horrible to push into. Sojourn on this map, really awkward to push into on. Again, small chokes with the Sojourn slow is disgusting. It's so dangerous. Sometimes you're just going to get your head taken clean off by Sojourn, and sometimes you just have to say, yeah, it happens. Great Suzu. Suzu, a pretty good counter to the Hog as well. You can cleanse off the stun and make you invulnerable if they do get the hook in. And immediately like, okay, we're running Hog down. Hog is the slowest hero. He's used his hook. Protect whole hog the last fight, by the way. He has whole hog again. Insane build-up time. That is so fast. Now, a big part of that was because, he healed so much health on his E, but he does insane damage. He's still getting shredded, by the way. How, again, Kiriko gets killed by a Death Blossom. And it just feels like Top Dragon just waltzes up there and goes like, hello, I'll take your life right now. I'll reap your life away from you. So, Off was back here by the cylindrical thing on the center of the map. So Off TP's here. I saw the paper coming from over there a second ago. They might spin around again. Yeah, you just saw them. Oh, fuck. You saw them in the top right for a second. I'm not going back again. But I'm going to guess Kiriko TP's somewhere. Yeah, they've TP'd. Who to, though? It must be nice that Off TP's to. I think this gets called, and Top Dragon's like, okay, Kiriko is your main source of healing. They've used their escape ability. I think they Suzu as well here. Was this Suzu? Yeah, I think that's Suzu. Fuck, this game is such a clusterfuck of graphics, by the way. They do everything to keep Protect alive, but little did they know, the person they should have been protecting is Kiriko. TP'd onto Nice. Nice blinks away. Off has no cooldowns. Dead. Now it's the go button. Sojourn pops ult. And Panthera just trying to, soft reset right now, but it's pretty hard when you're losing your main source of healing. You're just going to get poked, prodded. Kiriko again back pretty quick. Nice was trying to contest it, gets killed. It's an interesting, situation. They win the map here, by the way. It's kind of like, do we push for kills of the slow people at that point, or do we just protect the point? They decide at this point, and it's typically pretty good, just kill what comes to point, and we'll win the round. And they did. They kill what comes to the point, they get the insta cap, and that's map number 1 for them. Alright, let me fast forward into the future, to King's Row. Honestly, if I was playing this set, I was going to say Control Center. Lijiang Tower into King's Row is like my idea of a dream. 2 of my favourite maps. Really nice maps. Maps with some high ground, but not insane amounts of high grounds. Some maps with long sightlines, but not incredibly long sightlines. It's a pretty good balance, I think. Right, we have the same team on the side of Panthera, and the same team on the side of SPG. And again, we're going to see our next tank. So Panthera on the defense, they're like, hang on a minute, what are SPG going to run? Are they going to run the Winston again? If they're going to run the Winston, we should play the Hog. But the problem is, if they play the Hog, then SPG are just going to go back and play the Sigma instead for the counter. There becomes a point where the team must then accept, okay, which of these is the best of the worst situation? And I think Sigma has the advantage in that he can deal with Hog, and he's not terrible into the Winston. And that's what they go with. So this is another tank we see getting played, Sigma. Other than that, it's basically just the same comp for Panthera. It's Lucio, Kiriko, Sojourn, just set in stone, and the Tracer. Right, SPG come out on the Winston, Lucio, Kiriko, and a Genji. The Widow is just for a pick from the spawn, by the way, and immediately goes to Sojourn afterwards.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. I was there. It was nuts. Everybody was kung fu fighting.
So, why would you pick the Genji into this comp? Genji is pretty good with the Kiriko, again. You can get dashes up quickly. If you get the ult off as well, you get to slash more times, because the ultimate for Genji is based on a time, and it's not the number of slashes you take. So if you can speed up his attack time, then you can get more slashes, which means there's more damage. It's also another threat for the beat. It's like, do I beat the Kiriko ult? Do I beat the Blade? If you get both in one ult, then fantastic. Also, Top Dragon, one of his big heroes is Genji. I think that's a big part of the reason why they're playing it. Also, very interesting how they're positioned right now. Let's do it from this perspective. So, let me get my pen again. You wouldn't normally see this on the ladder, holding this high ground. I like to hold this high ground if I'm like a support like BAP or something, because it gives you a pretty good view of the point here. Also, if you get like a little bit scared, you can always come back round here, and you can't see it on my screen anymore, but you can always go onto the catwalk walkway behind. There's another window, you can see the full point again, and then you can fully go around, and then you're protected from this angle over here, and you can still heal on the point. And you can put a bit of damage out if you're playing like Zen as well. Very nice to play up there. The alternate place for supports, and the one that I think you see more often on the ladder, is back here, just on the back of Hotel, on the floor, and then you can push back through the archway. The other thing about playing up here, by the way, is if your team is getting hard pushed back through this way, and get pushed back through the archway, you can always drop out the window back towards second point, and then come back through the archway. So I kind of like playing up here. You do see a lot of pro teams playing on this high ground. But the reason why I said it was kind of interesting is that, can I just grab this? Their team was playing as like a team of 2 and a team of 3. Kiriko and Tracer were playing as basically flankers. Off was hard pocketing the Tracer so that she can get more value on the flank, whilst also being a pretty big threat herself. If you push this duo, Kiriko can just TP back over here, and Tracer can, just blink around. Tracer, very hard to catch. She can even go this way instead and come out through over here. The other 3 is Protect. Let me get a different colour. Protect, Hidden, and Lego are together, and they're on the high ground. So, the nice thing about having a Lucio on the high ground here, because you don't really need that much healing, you've got a shield. Protect is your shield. He will take most of the damage. Hidden can just shoot through the shield, so he's pretty safe from Ade. But if a team dives you, like the Winston, and the Winston is the real fear of the Sigma team, Lucio has the threat of booping them back off the high ground. So they're not really doing this for the speed. The heal is fairly nice. The speed is useful to relocate, though, this 3 squad. So I'm not saying, like, you get no value from speed, but they're not looking to speed ingress. It's not like Death Ball anymore. They're kind of looking for the boop to keep these up here and just keep them alive. And the dream for this comp is just to sit on this high ground and shoot the enemy team as they go to the point. Because there is little cover on the point of King's Row. But anyway, I guess Lego goes for a boop, doesn't get the boop. And what can they do about it? Kiriko is off, doesn't TP back to save Lego. Lego gets dove. I guess he went forward to try and boop to you, missed the boop, got bubbled, I guess, because you can see the bubble here. And he just fucking walks away. And they're like, okay, you have no speed anymore. That's a big part of your healing gone. We'll start putting pressure on the point, force you go to the point. This is the rotation I talked about. Protect just drops out the window, goes towards the second point. And again, what does he do to the Winston here? He puts his jazz hands up. Winston doesn't care about jazz hands. He'll just beam you down through it. Nice is performing miracles, though, in the backline. He's killed both the supports. Just nice things. But the spawn is so much closer for SPG. Also, Kiriko can teleport through walls. Lucio has speed. You can take fights very quickly with this comp. Other strong point of this comp, there's not this slow build-up, gaining energy like you need for Zarya. You're just instantly, we're fighting. And then, okay, we have no cooldowns. We're not fighting. We're fighting again. If everyone dies, it's like, okay, 3 seconds, we're going to fight again. It's just, I'm going to brawl till the cows come home. You've also noticed, by the way, Protect has now gone onto the Roadhog. This is the rock, paper, scissors. Okay, you're going to go Winston, which is pretty good into the Sigma. I'm going to go Roadhog.
Don't overcommit, don't overstay your welcome, but you also don't give up too much map control.
The flanking around the Hotel right now, just looking for picks. At some point, though, someone has to go for the point. It's probably going to be Nice first. and then Protect. The Tracer is almost here just to give Protect some room to try and get the picks. Again, both supports die. Protect gets the pick, gets a kill on Top Dragon as well, and it's a really good hold. You give 2 picks up, 2 ticks, but considering you got first picked, I can live with that. However, problem, you look at the ult charges right now, Lee Soo-min is destroying off in the ult charge build race. It's just that simple. Now, a big part of that, and you might be saying at this point, I'm being harsh on off. I'm not. Like, without the replay viewer and, looking through all the games, it's hard to say how his Kiriko stands up to someone like Lee Soo-min, who seems pretty solid as a flex support player, and he's played flex support in the past. I think he's an anime, typically. Like, I think that's his main hero, but it seems to have transitioned to Kiriko pretty well. But part of the problem with this Panthera comp is Hog now has a self-heal. So he's going to heal himself, which means there's less healing for Kiriko to do, which means she builds less ult charge. I don't know how much of this is attributed to the damage for ult charge. I know it's less than the healing, but maybe Lee Soo-min is pumping out disgusting damage. I don't know. But what I do know is that the Winston, rather than healing himself, is putting a shield down to protect, from his damage coming in. Which means that he's often at low health once he's done, like, his dive. Lee Soo-min gets more ult charge off it. It's pretty good. Now, again, you might point out that Protect was on a Sigma at the start. True. Sigma can eat damage, though, as well. Protect just obliterates the Winston, insta-hook into whole hog. This is something else, and this fucking grinds my gears. If you want to see me as, the red-headed, this is a devil, by the way, angry. If you want to see me angry, is when people go in chat, LOL, solo ult. In 5v5, solo ulting someone is so worth it, for most cases. There are some where, like, okay, maybe you could have done better than that. If you can get a kill off Whole Hog, it's worth it. Whole Hog is worthless as an ult, typically. It's pretty good with the Kiriko, I'll give it that. But if you can kill the tank of the opposition team, basically before the fight even starts, and gives yourself another, 30 seconds of objective progress, I'd fucking take that to the bank. I don't give a shit about the rest of the ultimate. Like, Protect could have just walked back through Hotel and done absolutely nothing, and this ult was fantastic. Don't be afraid to solo ult. Now, even Shatter and stuff, even Grav, if you're grabbing their most important player and you kill them, it's worth it. For example, in the Zarya match-off, if you grab their Zarya and they're at 100% charge and you might be at 20, and they're out of position and your team kills them, that is so much worth it for you. So much worth it. Just to remove that charge of the table. If they had an ultimate as well, and you can kill them before they get a value of the ult, it's worth it. Solo ult, people. Protect is disgusting. And interestingly, SPG is keeping to their guns, like Panthera, who have been playing this rock, paper, scissors game. They're like, no, I mean, they do have ults at this point. But we're going to stick with the Winston for now. We don't need to reset the ult. If you had Whole Hog again, that could have been another kill on 2U. This is both the DPS ults, the Kiriko ult. SPG are like, okay, we're winning this fight. We have 5 ults. We're just blowing everything. They were so close to beat Panthera, that could have been a pretty good counterplay for this, but instead, blade into the Kiriko ult, more slashes, lots of damage, and Top Dragon just cleans up, and that's the point. It would have been interesting to see how this fight played out if they got the beat off. Also, off Kiriko ults in this. I don't know who calls it. Let's try and see it in the exact moment. Again, this is just off watch right now. If it's an instant response, then I don't think it's the end of the world. But you'll see some teams, especially the best teams, where they're very confident in their skills. Lego will probably be an ult tracking this. It's probably Lego. It's normally your main support, i.e. your Lucio or Mercy player that does the ult tracking. they'll be aware that SPG are coming into 5 ults. They're probably aware they have 4 ults. The Blade, certainly. The Sojourn and the Winston. They might not be aware of the Kiriko, but they will be as soon as she pops it. But anyway, they'll know they have an ult advantage. Panthera could have drive fought this and just went like, okay, you're going to beat us, you're going to get this tick now. We don't really have anything to hold it off, unless, you know, Lego gets ult charge, or they get an early pick to change it. Possibly just dry fight it. Sure, you lose the first objective, but it puts you in a better position afterwards, because SPG have to dump ults at this. They can't fucking mess around anymore. They can't risk not capping first. Instant hook. 2 gets chunked down, but there's not enough damage. He goes first. Off goes first. So they try to be proactive. That's fine. I can live with that. If you decide to use your Kiriko ult proactively early as they walk through the choke to try and get an early pick before SPG can get their ult cycle going, then so be it. They basically try to enable Nice here, I think, to get picks. It does seem like Panthera are very much using their Kiriko to supplement the Tracer to get insane value off the Tracer, and then kind of the other 3 are just living in their own little bubble. Sojourn, I guess, can do that, and then the Lucy just speeding the Hog around to get more value. It's pretty good, honestly. I don't dislike the idea. SPG, on the other hand, seem to be much more, like, hugged us up as a group. Sanguinar is like 1. Yeah, they kill Hog with fucking Blade. It's just, they had too many ults at that point. There's not a lot to say about it. If Nice gets a pick into the Kiriko ultimates, especially if he kills like Lee Soo-min, it's a fight win. I think that was a good play from Panthera. Or at least, you know, it wasn't a bad play. SPG used 3 ultimates here. They still have 2 more ultimates. It means this next fight is going to be interesting. You have beat for the Sojourn ult, but Panthera could beat later and then use the beat aggressively. Hidden is instantly killed pre-fight. I don't even know what's happening. Without the replay viewer, this is so hard. So Protect is up here. Hidden is just main at this point. I think they just get headshot by some shuriken. No, it's a melee. They must just take a ton of damage. Maybe they come up to this high ground because I can see Sojourn up. Sorry, Sojourn. I can't see Sojourn. I can see Kiriko and Sojourn. Maybe they're all together. I have no idea, but Hidden gets picked. How fast does it happen? Oh yeah, they must have been up here. So there's a split push. It's the DPS and supports of... No, it's not even the DPS and supports. Hang on a minute. It's Nice, Lego, and Off who were up here. They were with Hidden. So Protect was literally on his own. He was on his own main. Into, I think it's Ade, Top Dragon, and Lee Soo-min. They left their Winston and Lucio together. So I think they were trying to give Sojourn this high ground here. And protect them. I guess Hidden just gets caught out. Maybe they don't expect the enemy team to be up here. And just gets obliterated. Nice goes for a pulse bomb kill. Okay. Like, how does this happen? Like, I just saw in the background. I need to slow... I don't need to slow this down, but I'm just kind of intrigued how they were positioned here. So Lucio Winston is definitely here at this point. But the Sojourn is here as well. So Addie's down here. How? Who do I see up there then? It is. Addie's up there in the very top left. So Addie must dash forwards. They must use their slide. So I'm going to guess Addie slides forwards. Him and Top Dragon kill Hidden. And Addie just abandons and they must call the Hog is on their own. So they go back to kill the Hog. Leaving a 2v3 up here now. Top Dragon gets killed by the Pulse Bomb. but it's taken so many resources. 4 people have gone up here. Protect is going to die. Protect is dead to the rest of the team. Yeah, they just let Top Dragon die and just fucking go like, alright, see you later, Top Dragon. Sorry about your KD. And they go in here and murder the Hog. And our Panthera are like, well, we haven't got our Sojourn, which is our damage. We haven't got a Hog who really wants to touch the cart. We're just a Lucio, a Kiriko, and a Tracer. But we have this nice high ground here. Unfortunately, there's not a lot they can do with it. Because you're probably trying to take that for your Sojourn. So they just, like, sat up here. Nice is going to, you know, contest the cart a little bit, just be a little bit of harassment. And the supports are super split right now. They just have to go back. Which they are. You see them going up through the top. Again, off pretty late, but he can teleport. There he goes on the teleport. Very risky to teleport in front of Winston. As soon as you know the Kiriko teleport isn't up, they're fairly killable. And SPG has shown they're willing just to murder the Kiriko when she TPs. If she's anywhere near them. But it was a fight win for them either way. And a fairly fast reset for Panthera. Hidden has ulted, and SPG have gone like, you know what? See you the fuck later. We don't give a shit about this. Peace out. If that was a headshot, that was a fight win. They didn't get the headshot. They wait out the ultimate, and they get no value for it. Protect, getting his ult up. There's beat, counter beat as well. In fact, it was the other way around. The Lego beat first. Why did he beat? What caused the beat to happen?
See, they're respecting it. They just kind of back away. At least Suman takes a body shot and then nearly ends him. So
Where is it?
it's slow down, stop it. And if Simpra
He beats now. Why is Lego beating this? I guess they just decide we're going to go aggressive with the beat. With the logic as well that if SPG beats, we can whole hog them down and just chew through the overshield.
gets slowed down and then they go for fights.
They miss Hidden, though, on Panthera. SPG hits everyone. SPG seems to play this way more like, you know, a 5-team unit. Panthera seems to just let people go off on their own to do their own thing. Again, this is probably a stylistic difference, plus the Hog comp is better for that. Anyway, Lee So-min dies, so that's great for Panthera. They've done well for this fight. They did use 3 ultimates and traded it into beat, which is subpar, but I guess they're going to take this fight now. Yeah, they're definitely taking this fight now. But they're going to have a miserable time. 2U ults as well, which is fucking just surreal. That's not a good ultimate. And 2U's like, I've had enough of playing the Winston character to Roadhog. I will also play the Roadhog character. You know, rock, paper, scissors, you only lose if you're picking the wrong choice. A draw is fine too. They go to mirror it. But the only difference now is that there's a Genji. Oh, here's the other interesting substitution. Hang on a minute, I'm being dopey. Now, I've been talking about this rock, paper, scissors of the tank role, and this has been the case. The other interesting rock, paper, scissors game is going on right now. Because Sanguinar has decided, I've had enough of playing this speedy character, I'm going to play Ana. And they go, Ana Kiriko. Now, Ana is the bane of Hog's existence. Probably like there's very few hard counters in Overwatch. This is probably one that you could treat that. You can really stop Hog from doing what he wants to do, which is just, you know, waddle around the map, throwing hooks at people and then healing when you go on them. The anti counters the heal, so if Hog heals, he doesn't get any health from it. That's his form of tanking. As soon as you do that, the Hog is very killable. Also, because he has no form of shielding, he can't block sleeps easily. So you can sleep the Hog. And between those two things, it's really hard for the Hog to play the game. Now, there is a counterplay to this in the Kiriko ult. You have a cleanse on the invulnerability. But if you're popping your cleanse here at all points, you're not going to be able to keep other people alive with the invulnerability portion of it. You're literally just going to be keeping your Hog alive non-stop. Also, you can't cleanse both the sleep and the anti unless you get anti and then slept. If Sanguinar is smart about this, he'll just like keep antiing them, wait for the cleanse and then sleep them. Also, great synergy with the Dragon Blade. Nano Blade is very scary. Nano Blade with the Kree, which is a bit of an overinvestment of ultimates, is disgusting. I think that's what we call in the business disgusting. This flexibility, though, in the support line is very nice. And I think this is what a lot of Overwatch teams next season will be looking for. They'll be looking for supports that have a broad hero pool, who can play both classical main supports and some of the flex supports as well. Maybe not all the flex supports, but they'll be looking at some that, pick up a bit of BAP, a bit of Anna as well. The other minor thing as well is if you're running Anna with your own Hog, Nano Whole Hog is pretty disgusting as well. Not as good as Nano Blade. But also, nading your own Hog while he heals is a disgusting amount of healing. Anyway, very smart from Panthera here, by the way. They immediately recognize that SPG is an ult advantage, and they're like, no, we're going to go proactive here. If you know the enemy team is coming into like a last fight or something and they have a bank of ultimates, let's say you've been ult tracking, which is pretty good to do on the ladder as well, if you want to climb. You don't want to just sit there defensively and going like, okay, we're gonna just sit here on, we're gonna sit on the corner and we'll just hope that, no, don't fucking do that. Don't be a pussy. They have 5 ultimates. They want to use it in a set sequence. They want to use it around the objective and take the objective immediately. Fucking push at their spawn. Attack them when they don't expect it. Like, hide in an alleyway. Try and get a pick. Because as soon as you pick someone from this, even though it's, maybe like 5v4, and they still have the ult advantage, they might lose one of their big ults. Like, let's say you knock the beat off the enemy team or something. I know they haven't got beat right now. Then you're just relying on, like, the Sojourner maybe whiffing some shots, not getting as much value from the ult as possible, and missed pulse bomb. If you have to deal with the beats as well, like, you're not going to win the fight. You have to take them out of their stride. I would say through this, SVG have been typically on the front foot, but I really like this adaptation from Panthera. They've like gone like, okay, we're fucking going for it. Incredible Suzu. Leaves them in. Take a bow. Saves to you there. Huge invulnerability, huge cleanse. Now SPG have decided to pop some of their ults. The downside to this is if you push aggressively and don't get anything off it, you're going to lose the next fight. But they were probably going to lose the fight anyway. As soon as the Kriko ults, everyone on the Panthera team are out of here. They just speed away, and then Top Dragon finishes them off with the blade. But that's pretty decent. And now Panthera are like, okay, you're going to play Roadhog, we're going to play Scissors, we're going to play Sigma. Actually, it's probably more like Paper. Yeah. And then 2's like, okay, if you're going to play fucking Sigma, I'm going to play Winston. I'm going to go back to this Winston character. Winston pretty good with the Anna as well. Sanguinar stays on it for now, but he probably is looking for a swap as well, because it's way harder to get anti-nades off onto Panthera when they have a shield, and sleeps. Just great play again from Lee Soo-min. Gets the pick onto Neist. It's so scary being a Tracer into Kriko, because if she hits you with a headshot, you're fucked. That leaves you on 30 health. Headshot melee, you die. Well, without the Tracer, Panthera now can't really touch the cart too well. They're getting pushed back. They also don't want to take a fight 5v4 and give SPG a bunch of ult charge. And look where the cart has gone now. There's this interesting thing for Overwatch. And I still don't know it, so if people in the comments want to like discuss this, maybe of a higher ranking player, because I will admit, and I think I mentioned this in the intro, I've certainly mentioned in previous videos, that I only peaked Diamond, so I don't know a lot of this experience myself. A lot of it is from watching a lot of OWL games. In situations like that, where your Tracer gets picked early, is it better just to run to the cart and stop the progress? Build up some more ult charge for yourself, and, let the enemy team take some ult charge off you as well. I think the situation depends. I think in the situation they were in, it was the correct place to back off, because if SPG had a full bank of ultimates, what are you going to lose? They're not getting any more ult charge beyond the ult, so you might as well just, run in. But I think because SPG would have built a full set of ults before Panthera, they just backed off, gave them the distance, and hoping to take like this neutrally fight. But you can see right now SPG getting their ults up very soon, and they have some of them up already. Panthera do have a few. They're about to get their beat, and they're about to get their Sojourn. They get their Sojourn, kill Lee Sumin, fight over. This is Sojourn. Somehow, while this is all going on, 2U and Top Dragon just murdered the enemy team. This is something else that, I keep saying this, we should mention this. One of the reasons why Winston is really good into shield heroes, or this comp in particular is good into shield heroes, Winston doesn't give a shit about shields. He cleaves through the shields with his zappy cannon. Bzz. Genji, when he dashes, ignores shields, doesn't give a shit about it. So between this little duo, and they have the Nano here for even more damage, I think this might have been a Nano Winston play. If you Nano the Winston, he jumps on Sigma and whoever else is in there, you can't stop the cleave with the Sigma shield. The shield becomes basically worthless. And if you remember the... I think it was like a patch, or was it an April Fool's thing where they took away Sigma's shield? I think it might have even been in the Overwatch 2 beta. He didn't have a shield anymore. He was unplayable. And that's kind of the situation that they've gone to. They just ignore his shield. They don't give a shit about it. So despite the fact that Panthera, I know, I said fight 1, they get 2 picks, they kill the supports, they lose 4 people in this. Oh, they nanoed at the Sojourn, not the Winston. Oh, by the way, obviously the fucking nade from Sojourn, that goes through shields. So there's a lot of cleave in this team. It's still going to be difficult for SPG to win from here, just because the spawn advantage is so big for Panthera. They don't have supports, they don't have sustain. That being said, Lee Sumin on Kiriko can teleport back very quickly. But they only got a small amount of progress there. They didn't get the cap. And Panthera still held their ultimates. Well, they held a lot of their ultimates. Didn't beat it. They were comfortable. Again, what the fuck is Protect going to do? By the way, the paper, the Healing of Voodoo, or whatever it's called, they don't go through shields. Nor does the beat, by the way. So if you put a bubble on the Sigma and just hard focus him, Lucio Kiriko is pretty bad at helping the Sigma. Again, the DPS start to pop off. Hitting the nice, get the backline. Well, SPG have basically, they've just shown the cards. They're like, we're going to just kill Protect on cooldown if he's playing Sigma. And this takes us to the next form of rock, paper, scissors. I don't know where we add the 4th piece of the rock, paper, scissors, but this is really this is the second game of rock, paper, scissors that's going on. It's like 4D rock, paper, scissors. We now have a D.Va on the field. D.Va, who, by the way, has been nerfed, I think, on this patch. So, they've gone, okay, we can't play Sig into this because he's just going to get jumped on, bubbled, and killed. We can't play Hog, which is a normal counter to the Winston, because the Ana is in play now, unlike normal where it's the Lucio. So, I'm just going to get Anted, I'm going to get Slept, and the alternative is they match the Winston. I don't know if Protect ever matches the Winston in this game. I'm not entirely certain, I don't remember. But Protect, Winston is not really his main, bread and butter. He's more of an off-tank player. But even then, you're just matching, right? You're not really gaining the advantage into it. So instead, what they do is they go D.Va. Now, into this little side game we were playing, where Ana beats Hog. D.Va beats Ana. This is the main reason you would pick this, because you immediately remove the threat of the antis. Really good D.Va players, and I think Protect is a pretty good D.Va player. That's an understatement. He's great on D.Va. I don't know how good he is compared to, the true, upper echelons of the Owl D.Vas, but obviously he's, incredibly good. They will watch Ana. And I used to try and practice this a lot, looking for the nades, because if you keep eating Ana's nades, you fucking remove a big chunk of the healing. She can also eat the shots, so if you get someone low, and you just DM them, Ana does nothing. She's just a waste of space. It's also pretty good into the Kiriko, by the way, because you'll eat the paper as well, I believe, and the healing of Fudu. So this was basically picked because you can dive someone from their team aggressively. Let's say Ade. You can dive Ade aggressively, DM Ade, and he can't receive any form of healing. And you can just kill someone like that. So this is your next form of rock, paper, scissors. If they go Ana, we'll pick D.Va. And now SPG are going to go like, oh, we don't want to be on Ana anymore. So, like, we're going to play the game of rock, paper, scissors again. I'm pretty certain they're going to swap off this. Oh, no, there he goes. So they're like, okay, you're going to play D.Va, we're going to play Lucio. This is what Overwatch is about. I really like these little, like, micro changes to the comp. I will admit, what I would love to see is, like, full team comp switches, like, real stylistic changes. I'd also like it to be in a situation, I think this is where the Overwatch would be the strongest, is if we had two rivaling metas that were comparable to one another in strength, but maybe had like some stylistic influences to sign it, that like certain teams might like brawl more than others and can play this brawl comp that can beat the dive comp, but if you're a really good dive comp, you could beat the brawl comp. It's really tough to balance the game, because at the end of the day, the core comp has basically always been Lucio, Kiriko, Sojourn, or at least Kiriko, Sojourn. It's that backbone, which is some form of like poke type comp, poke / rush. Nice gets brutally murdered again. He's not having a fun time of it. I don't think Trace is particularly good at this point. I'm kind of surprised he's still on it. Here comes the Kiriko Blade. Look how fast Genji's swinging now. Doesn't get that much value from it there. Also, I should have mentioned this. Primal Rage with the Kiriko ult is insanely strong. Winston with the Kiriko ult is disgusting. The other reason why you see Winston a lot with Kiriko, the cooldown reduction on Winston might be one of the best heroes to get the cooldown reduction on. If you can keep jumping on people, and the cooldown for jump is pretty fast in the Kiriko ult. I can't remember exactly, it's like 3 or 4 seconds. And you start doing like the jump melee stuff, the jump... I don't know if you can do the jump charge in it, but you can destroy heroes with Winston. And it's AoE cleave on top of that. You can really pound people. But with the... And you can put down more shields, which is really good. His shield, as I said, is very strong. Possibly the best shield in the game at the moment, even. But if you have Primal Rage with the Kiriko ult, the really, really good Winstons, it's basically like a Dragon Blade for them. It's so powerful when you can swing more frequently. And they can do some disgusting juggles. So Blade plus Winston plus Kiriko is fucking scary. It's disgusting. Panthera lived through this. This is really good play. Protect does brilliant. That's a 3k for Protect. Give me 4. Off, you kill Top Dragon. I'm going to report you. And SPG don't get the full push. Very good defense. Very good hog play from Protect. Not more to say. You can see why these two are like some of the top Korean contenders team. Sorry. You know what? Let me go back to this. Let's see the full hog replay here. Kills Sanguinar with a hook. Look at the hook cooldowns, because he's in a Kiriko ult. I'll take... Okay, the Kiriko ended at that point. But getting 2 hooks off 2 quick picks, it's just disgusting. Disgusting. Anyway, we now see a game of rock, paper, scissors start again. Unfortunately, this time SPG on the defense, so they don't get to choose. It's a big advantage in rock, paper, scissors if you get to see what the opponent does first. They've decided to go with the hog play, which is fair enough. But they're running the Ana with it, which is really interesting. So they're like, okay, Panthera, you seem to enjoy playing this hog-based comp. We're going to protect ourselves against the hog-based comp by having the Ana as well. Which means you're going to be forced into the Sigma comp. You can't really play the Winston comp anymore. And we're fine with you being on the Sigma comp. We can beat the Sigma comp. This is for SPGs, the lesser of their evils. Unlike Panthera, who went for the Sigma comp. So they're going to come out, Panthera. They're going to see the Roadhog. Again, stylistic differences. Top Dragon is up here with Lee Soo-min. but they immediately just they just back off immediately. They don't go super aggressive. Like I feel like Panthera is so aggressive with their flanks. It's kind of crazy. Also, really weird right now. Oh, it's the Ana as well. Okay, this is quite a nice position. This is kind of like the position I was talking about before. Oop. Ana is over here in this window. Ana can see Kiriko and Genji here, so they're fairly safe. Hog and Sojourn can just come back through Hotel, and Ana can see them again. Or can, like, you know, flank back round to this window, and then see them from here. Can also drop back and go through the choke. Very safe position this for Ana. Very nice. Hard to dispose of her. Immediately, as soon as Panthera start pushing, Lee Soo-min and Top Dragon are like, okay, we're out. They don't play aggressively. They're like, we'll get back to our team. We'll get back to the 5. Protect has gone back onto the Diva, by the way. There goes the TP. And typically what teams will do at this rank is they'll go and take this high ground and push teams around. So everyone's dropped back into Hotel. Tuyu's just playing his own game. He's playing Deathmatch at the moment. Which is kind of like, I guess, how he has to play into this. They're like, okay, we'll all focus the Hog. Hog heals. Kiriko TP's back to them. They're still pushing the Hog. Like, look how long he lived for. But it's all going to fall apart because Sangwoonar and Lee Soo-min cannot heal the Hog. Because he was just going to get DM'd continuously. So eventually this comp will fall apart. And now SPG go, okay, well, we'll play Lucio then. We won't play Ana anymore. Protect is going to see this and go like, okay, you're playing Hog. You're not playing Ana anymore? I'll play Roadhog. And we finally get onto like this mirror comp again. They don't go for the Sigma, they go for the Hog this time. Which is kind of interesting. I'm sort of surprised they don't go for the Sigma here. I guess he's just feeling it at this point and thinks he can beat Tuyu on the Hog. And again, big differences on the defense. SPG are all together. They haven't sent 3 people up to the high ground to take the high ground for Sojourn to, you know, do some flanking damage. They're treating it almost like it's not true death wall, but they always have each other's back. They're always within like the Lucio heal when they have the Lucio as well. They don't play particularly wide, so to speak. Often you'll see teams trying to take positions. Like, let's say this is your enemy team. Like, let's just say they're a death wall enemy team. If you can surround them like this and get people shooting from this side, this side, putting pressure on, like, you can't shield all sides, especially now in Overwatch 2 with only a single tank. I feel like Panthera tried to epitomize this. We're going to surround you. We're going to send, like, hidden, nice, off, on their own little, like, secret missions, and then we'll just speed Protect around. And maybe we'll give some speed to Sojourn as well. Like, maybe we'll just leave Protect on his own even. And Protect can be here, and, you know, we'll put Hidden over here. Maybe Lego can, like, sit around, go between the two of them. And obviously Off and Nice are over here. It just feels like, as long as you're proactive on the SPG side of things, you can take it apart. And they are being. They're playing more like a team, being proactive, looking for these small teams, like these little mini groups, and then just taking them apart. And as I said, in 5v5, that you're losing 20% of your team when you get picked. Like, you just can't be picked in this mode. You're just going to lose most of the time. Nearly a huge hook there, by the way, from Protect. That would have won them the fight eventually. But they're chasing the kills, SPG. One of the things you don't do in low ranks, chase the kills. If you get, like, 2 picks, fucking run at the enemy team, get their ult charge, put them back in the spawner. Like, get them 30 seconds on the spawn timer. It's really big, it adds up. If you keep doing this over the course of a game, like, you'll remove a fight away from the game. A fight that you may have otherwise lost. The other stylistic difference for this defense, by the way, is the Genji gives you some really good vertical mobility, unlike the Tracer. Tracer, obviously, very good mobile. Great blinks. Can get around a lot, get around quickly. Genji can get around pretty quickly, he has his dash, but his real strength comes in his, like, vertical mobility. He can just hold that window on his own, keep checking, keep getting some information. Very good. Anyway, Lee Sumin and Off both pop their ultimates. It's now the Madhouse. They pop a blade into it as well. But, as I said, Whole Hog plus Kiriko. Goodbye, HP. I want to see this in action. Slow-mo this. Great Suzu from Off, by the way, to protect. Whole Hog is going off now. Watch 2U's health here. Bearing in mind 2U hooks protect here. Goodbye health. Half of Roadhog's health, and I think he was healing in that. Gone. There he goes, it's just evaporating now. Goodbye. The one thing that didn't go for Panthera here, and you could argue that it was fine, they beat. So they use Roadhog ult, they use both the support ults. SPG use one support ult, they don't beat, and they use their Whole Hog. Oh, and they used their Dragon. Okay, it wasn't as bad, but you probably would have wanted to keep the beat. I think they would have won it regardless of the beat, but I can see why it happened. Whole Hog is a pretty good counter as well to the blade, strangely, just because it makes it a little bit more awkward to locomote around the map.
There needed to be a specific play to come through there from Sin Prison for that to have any different outcome without that sound barrier, unfortunately.
But I think this is coming to show as well a little bit of a difference in the comps, that the blade Kiriko will put so much like fear in that they had to beat it. Nice isn't going to get a beat for his ultimate. Anyway, Panthera are going aggressive again because they're at a disadvantage. Huge hook from 2U, that's probably the fight win for them. Panthera have lost most of their damage now. Nice little hook dodge. Nice hook dodge again from Protect. They're just like, fuck you, Protect. I'm going to kill you. Because Hog, not the most mobile guys. We mentioned, like, you know, the Tracer, the Genji. Hog is just the Waddle Boy. So they're just speeding people around, killing them. This is the most fun part of Lucio, where you win a fight, you speed your team around. You make Formula 1 car noises. Nice. Oh, I thought he got the hook there, but maybe he missed. Oh no, nice took damage. I don't think he had ammo, maybe. Anyway, they invested no ults and won that fight. Panthera invested in an ult. So, ult advantage largely in SPG's favour. And look how quickly Lee Sumin built up the Kiriko ult again. Protect dead again. Big burst, let's fight over again. Can't fight without your Roadhog. The one advantage they've got, this is bad play for Lego. The one advantage they've got is Addy had already used his ult, so they did get a DPS ult for that. I think that's part of the reason why Protect just exploded. I don't know why Lego was here. I guess he was just here for Hidden, to get Hidden out. But you can't get hooked in that situation. That's going to take your time down by another 30 seconds, because they have to wait for the Lucio. Now, Nice can put a bit of cart pressure on. Nice is fucking disgusting, by the way. Getting the kill on the Sojourn pre-fight here into the entire team of SPG is incredible. This is now a huge advantage for Panthera. The Lucio is going to get back faster than the Sojourn will. They need a pick. Great Suzu from Off. 2 Whole Hogs them away. That's your Hog gone again. Nice is just trying to 1v5 right now. Kills a Lucio as well. Also putting pressure on Top Dragon. And basically they lost that fight for Kiriko plus Whole Hog. And again, there goes the Kiriko ult. It's fight winning. Sanguinar doesn't beat this immediately.
That'll actually just be the cap. That will do it. Very anticlimactic, but the timing.
Nope, he goes for it. Like, you know what? We'll beat Blade. Okay, we're gonna have to go back. This is incredible. How? Okay, so we're gonna go all the way back to here. To the Whole Hog. So Nice finishes off Ade, who had been fighting hidden, I think. So it was a bit low. So it was a combo from the DPS. Why he's still there when his teams have come back, I don't know. Just a bit of miscommunication, maybe a bit of greed. So we're about to get the Krika ult plus the Roadhog ult. Hooked in. There, immediately as soon as he hits the hook, Kriko plus Roadhog ult. Let's start slowing this down now. Bear in mind right now, protect his healing. Look his health. And there it goes. Just melt the tank. Why not? So they're not going to have protect for this fight that's about to come up. Nice kills the Lucio. Lucio gets back quickly. So they lose Ade, but they decide they're going to invest heavily. They invest their best ultimate plus the tank ult to basically get even again. I don't know how Hidden lives there. That's not a great Suzu. That means Tuyu's going to die now into the Krika ult. As soon as, like, you know, he's used heal and Suzu, there's no way Tuyu survives. He dies. At which point Sanguinar and Ade are back. Ade gets Pulse Bomb, so it's a 3v4-ish now. Protect is probably back. Or coming to back. Why does Lego beat? Where did you use your beat? Oh, this is really good play from SPG. So they beat here. So they decided to go aggressively. I think they just decided we're going to win this fight now. They beat Kiriko. So both support ults get used to kill Roadhog. Then the Pulse Bomb. So that's the third ult gone to kill Sojourn. So they use 3 ults to kill 2 people. Which is pretty big. But they're about to have, you know, the beat and the blade. But because now they've seen that there's no beat anymore, SPG decide we have our win condition. Our win condition is blade. So they regroup for a last little push. Just to make sure that Top Dragon gets the blade and can live through it. Sanguinar beats the blade. He didn't counter beat the beat though. Because he didn't feel like he needed to. They basically dangled Tuyu in front of them. Watched them use all the ultimates. And then bladed afterwards. Lego gets picked again. He doesn't cover himself in glory in this fight, I think. So now they're only 1 down. But facing a beated blade. There's your damage gone. Protector's just got back to this, so it's now a 3v3. Forces Kriko's TP. Kriko is 1 HP. And has no Lucio heals anymore. And it's gone messy. Tuyu comes back on another tank. He's come back on the Doomfist now. So we've seen Winston, Roadhog, Sigma, Diva, Doomfist. Just on this map. We saw Junker Queen early. We saw Orisa early. That's 7 of the tanks we've seen. We've only not seen Ball and Ryan, I think, at this. Oh, no, and Zarya. Ball, Ryan, and Zarya haven't been played yet. They basically come back on Doom just because he's a very fast hero. And he can brawl a little bit into this comp. And they fight them back. One moment. Apologies. My roommate was just telling me something. Yeah, so the SPG win this fight against all odds. I think that took balls of steel. Let's do some Isaac quotes here. I know he's before Isaac as well, but it's what I thought of immediately. The pill balls of steel. And I think this is a bit, again, where the pro play differs from the ladder play. SPG recognized they still had their win condition, and even though they were 2 down, they invested in the fight because of their win condition. The win condition was Blade. And they put everything into holding that fight. On the ladder, I think you get flamed for doing that. Beating 2 down and then blading into 5. It's crazy. Anyway, SPG now are obviously not a great comp. Doom does okay into the Kriegel, by the way. You get more power block, more slams, more punches. He's very much like the quintessential cooldown hero, so he's pretty good. It's just his primary fire doesn't get that much value. He's also unfortunate that Doom doesn't do great into Roadhog, typically, because of the stun. Panthera now invests their final DPS ult. SPG, they've used everything. But they took more time off. They almost took it to overtime. So well worth it. 2U will go off the Doomfist again. He goes back to the Roadhog.
Yeah, and I mean, what's the other universe look like where Simpressa don't commit?
It seems like SPG don't really value the Sigma comp. They're having other teams running Sigma comps in Korean contenders. Much to the dismay of some of the casters, because they've been running it with, well, at least one of the teams has been running it with, I can't remember who it is. They've been running it with Brig and Zen. And the commentator's been moulding away.
Perfect scenario, actually. And Lisu
Well, I think this goes to show that tanks are actually in a pretty good place right now. All the tanks are almost viable. I'd say Doom and Junk Queen are a little bit too weak.
a last-minute fight, a last-ditch effort where Simpressa still have control of the card.
This is a funny play. So Protect hooks 2U off the map on, the hook spot. And Lee Soo-min TPs to you and goes off the map with them. That's why Lee Soo-min jumps off the map. It probably doesn't matter. It might have even been intentional for a reset. I don't know if they catch it at all. Ooh, that's the wrong button.
Where Simpressa still have control of the card.
So they don't even wrap around. Protect is just by the gap. Pulls in, I think, to you. Lee Soo-min teleports in. I don't think it was intentional because they were still going forwards and they're going to get picked off from it. A little bit unlucky, but funny. And that's a really good fight for Panthera. They didn't use any ult. They just won a neutral fight. And I didn't even notice it in all of this. Panthera made a substitution. They went off the Lucio and went to the Ana comp as well. And SPG go like, okay, we'll match this. We'll play this comp. You want to play this comp? We'll play this comp. So now we're on a mirror comp with the exception of the Genji, who gets way more value from the Ana than the Tracer does. Both Kuriko ults go off. This is just a little bit of a shit show. Nice kills the Genji, 2U kills Kuriko. That's probably, it's way more value. But it's just evolved into a little bit of a mess right now. Ana is just disgusting. He pops his ult as well. Genji, hold the cart. You're a tank now. Use your deflect to hold the cart. Where was the nano go there? I think he got onto Hidden to try and get him to the ult. But he doesn't get that much value from the nano. Protect comes back on the Doom. And they basically say like, okay, this is last fight. We're winning this fight. Whole Hog to just force them away. Hidden uses his ult. Hidden dies to Whole Hog in his ult. And that's basically it. You've lost your big source of damage. The spawns are so close for the defense. You really need a clean fight on King's Road to win from here. Nano the Genji just before he gets the blade. He would have got the blade to kill. It's just a small difference between like running the Tracer and the Genji, the threat of the two. I also would say that the Nano on the Sojourn is fine, but I just don't think they got enough value from it. They need to get like additional picks. Or just get his ultimate super quickly. Nano Sojourn ult is actually unbelievably disgusting if you hit your shots. It takes like the amount of charge you need to kill. I think it takes it to like 60% for a headshot. Is there or thereabouts? Which is pretty easy to get. And your primary fire is, as I said, like it's just like a soldier shot. It's so powerful. Anyway, that's 2-0 for SPG, and they're looking really good. And this takes us to, and you might be able to see from the timer, the final map. It was really that map, the King's Row map, that made me want to go over this. Because it was really interesting, the amount of tank selection, the tank variety. It was really cool to see. What I would have liked to see more, though, is some counter picks to Sojourn, but unfortunately there isn't really a counter pick to Sojourn right now. She's just disgustingly strong. Anyway. Panthera on the defense now. Same problem, the rock, paper, scissors thing. Where you have to pick your hand first and SPG gets to follow afterwards. Makes it harder to win. They've gone with their Hog Tracer comp again. And it's basically the default comp. SPG, they're hovering the anti-Hog comp again with the Ana. Addy is going to go into Sojourn again. She's just looking for a pick from Spawn. And they're playing the Genji again over the Tracer. There might be a little bit of, personal preference in all of this as well, that Top Dragon is known for his Genji, not his Tracer. So it's hard to ascertain exactly if it's better to run the Tracer or the Genji. But if you're going to make this substitution, and they've shown it a few times now, where Sanguinar goes to the Ana, and that flexibility, then I definitely would want the Genji over the Tracer there. Again, they go over to the Ana. This is the anti-Hog comp. So hard now for Protect to play the game. Great shot from Hidden. There's also probably some on-paper stuff you can do with the Tracers for the reason why you pick Tracer. So if you're going to pick the Genji, it's the threat of the Blade, really. I don't want to say Genji's a Blade bot, but he's a pretty big Blade bot. He does do pretty well into Hog as well. He can build ults fairly fast at the Hog. Deflect can, deny the hooks as well. So it's a pretty good matchup for him. But I guess the counter theory of that is, because if you're going to Blade, you're always going to have a chance to force the beat. Nice triple kill from Lego, by the way. I guess we'll slow that one down again just to go through it. But if you're going to play the Genji, if you got Genji, Hog, Ana, Kiriko, and Sojourn, you've got a lot of threats that you might want to beat. And you can't beat them all. It's as simple as that. Now, the flip side of this is Tracer is an ult you don't normally have to have a defensive ult against. But if she hits the Pulse Bomb every time, and you build up Pulse Bomb way quicker than Blade, typically, you're basically winning fights. This is the thing about Tracer. If you always get that instant pick from the Tracer for a Pulse Bomb, then it's huge value. If you keep missing the Pulse Bomb, you're not getting that much value anymore. You could be harassing. You're probably forcing the supports to play certain styles. You're making them look at you more. Well, you could also do that with the Genji as well. Anyway, Ana gets his head blown off again. Ana gets probably hooked and killed. Goes for a boop, gets the boop from Lego. It's just cleanup at this point. But look at the fucking aim on Lego. Nice triple kill. And look at the ult charge right now. Addy versus Hidden. Addy's at 28%. That's a passive ult charge at this point. Hidden's nearly got his ult. Nice is looking for this pulse bomb. Trying to be sneaky. The other sad thing about playing Tracer right now is if you pulse bomb someone, you can Suzu them. So there's that other issue with it. That the ult is not getting huge value into the Kiriko. Misses the ult. Feels bad. They are pretty close into a tight space right now. It's stylistic differences again. Look how close together SPG were there. We're in a little tiny fucking corridor with one another. Panthera were just surrounding them at this point, which is normally a pretty good, thing to do. But clearly they value, hitting the Ofuda on multiple people. The Lucio heals more, maybe versus the speed. It'd be really interesting to see the stats from this game, how much heals Lego got versus Sanguinar on the Lucio, this is. Or the healing per 10. I know they're not running it right now, they're running the Ana instead, so. It's hard to say. Who got Nano then, by the way? Who received Sanguinar's Nano? Was it the Hog? Oh, it was the fucking Hog, I just wasn't paying attention. As I said, Nano Hog pretty good, get a damage reduction. It's a huge threat. Protect basically whole Hogs just to force them back a little bit, but gets no value off it. So that's two of the ults now they haven't really got value off. Nice is nearly back up to theirs. Hidden also didn't get any value off there, so Panthera have a bit of a rough fight. Huge play from Top Dragon. Other good synergy for Sojourn and Genji. If you body shot someone instead of headshot someone with the 80 charge, a Genji dash will kill them. So I think Top Dragon and Addy are just hunting down Hidden. They're making his life a misery. And I don't think Nice is getting as much value into Addy.
So it cannot be a hamburger without meat. Like, that was the specific innovation.
And just like that,
There is no such thing as a
SBG are going to take the first point. For basically one fight as well.
cheap imitation. Don't
One fight win, get the point. Good deal. Protect goes back up to the Diva. He has to. He can't play the Hog anymore to the Ana. And you're going to see at some point SBG go off the Ana again.
It's not expressly to deal with the Ana, mind you. It has a little bit more flexibility in that. It can go in aggressive and play a little bit passive as well. Give nice secondary layer of offense. However, you don't have that instant kill potential that the hook brings, right? And the defense matrix, while useful, is not necessarily as effective at winning.
A little bit of a messy fight again. Panthera a little bit all over the place. Pop the Karika ult. This is the back off button from SPG. They're like, okay, we don't have a defensive ult, we're running away. We can't fight you in the Karika ult, goodbye. Protect gets a kill still, but that was it. Their big ultimate, the biggest ultimate they have, they get one kill. And the spawn door is over there. They didn't get much value for it. Protect is now going to have a bit of a miserable life. Diva's not too bad into Hog, but you always have that threat that if you try and boost her away, and the Hog hooks you, saves the hook for it, your ass is dead. Again, really surrounding people. Lego gets picked again. Protect is just on Sanguinar's ass right now. I'm pretty certain they're just going for the Nano Blade at this point, and then Sanguinar will drop off. Addy goes for a kill. How has Addy got here? What fucking magic has happened? Oh, he just runs it up mid. What the fuck is going on here? This is crazy. So you see him on the bottom left in the tunnel. Like, oh, hang on a minute. I have to pause this. It's the thing I've been talking about again, the style difference. Watch over here in a moment. You're about to see, I think it's Protect and someone else are behind the door. They're hunting Ali down on the flank. Then you have Kariko, Hog, Genji roughly over here. I think the Lucio's in this mess somewhere. And Addy's on their own, but has popped their ultimate. Like, look, there's Diva. I think there's 3 people back there. I think they hunt Sanguinar, and they're like, okay, we know where Addy is, we're going to hunt Addy afterwards. They basically just go around the death spot. Where was the Lucio? Okay, Lego is just fucking fighting. I have to look at this. So yeah, Lego goes to try and speed. This is pretty funny. So the idea, I think, of this Panthera play is, and I think this is wrong, Sojourn ults, Protector's cold Ana is low, so Lego goes to speed Protect to kill Sanguinar. Nice, I think, is behind them. Kariko teleports behind them, so they're a 4 squad because Lego just gets hooked upon, you know, trying to speed. It's so risky, as I said, just to run past the Hog like this. So there goes off, he TP's behind, so there's now everyone but Hidden, so the 3 squad of Diva, Kariko, and Tracer go to chase Sojourn. Unfortunately, they don't have their speed anymore, nor do they have their beat. That's their beat gone, which is pretty bad when there's a Nano Blade potentially coming, or just a Blade since he killed the Nano in the end, so they do get their prey. But they're in no man's land right now, and they SPG are like, okay, Hidden's on the high ground on his own now. So Hidden's like, pew pew pew. And I'm pretty certain Addy is just going to walk it up mid. Yeah, he just walks it up mid. Even takes a shot at them. And I think Hidden's just accepted that Hidden is going to die now. They push Hidden, that's your damage gone. And here's the crack team now from behind. They're like, oh shit. Like, we've just lost our main source of DPS, who do we go on here? Well, that hero TPs. This hero can dash away and has a deflect. This one can jump a mile away and dash at the speed of light. I guess we'll go on Hog, but Hog is just going to push the heal button and not give a shit.
Now gets back in it.
So I think they've basically decided at this point we're going to die points. The spawn is also closed for SPG. So equal trades favor the offense right now. There goes the Tracer and the Kriko. Protect just wants to get out now without losing his mech. They give up the high grounds.
The big thing about this, though, is that Panthera's identity this season has been around the road.
But he keeps mech.
This has been the team that has staked their
Again, Protect is hunting. You see this a lot in games as well. It's like, oh, we don't have a tank. He's not taking space. This is Panthera's team. Protect has gone to play as a flanker. He's playing flanking D.Va at the moment. And it's not a bad thing. If he can get on Addy at some point from, like, the side, that's going to be your space created, because the attention of Addy will not be over here anymore. It's going to be over, like, here or on top of himself instead. It's a real different way of playing D.Va now compared to how you used to play it Overwatch as one as the off-tank. Anyway, this is misery time. Nano Blade into a small corridor. They beat it. But you're not coming through here. Top Dragon is the bouncer. Whole Hog goes. Top Dragon does get killed. Protect, though, dies. They basically just turn. We have a Gatekeeper. Lego gets picked again, by the way. They have a Gatekeeper. It's a Nano Dragon Blade. The other four of the team couldn't get through. They turn on Protect, kill Protect. That's your D.Va gone. They seem to be focusing Protect when they can. Protect and Hidden are like the two numero uno targets. If they can get off as well, then it's fine. But it's just quick decisions. Nice play from the Genji. Now they're on a Kriko ult. Which means that Genji's going to build his blade faster, because, you know, more shots means you're doing more damage, means you get more ult charge. Somehow they're still fighting this. 2 is 1, gets killed. Protect, unfortunately, though, is in mini D.Va form right now, which is not a great tank form. It's going to get the mech back. Gets mech. And SVG is soft reset. They're like, okay, we can't push this anymore. Let's get our numbers back. And it's not a bad situation for Panthera to be in. They've flipped the ult advantage. There's only 26 seconds left as well. They used Nano Blade, and they swapped off Genji. They went to the Tracer instead, which I think is partially for the touch at this point to get back a little bit quick. But yeah, that was Nano Blade gone. They don't switch off the Ana as well. I think this is probably the mistake SPG takes here. They get stuck in a situation where they want to do the Nano Blade, and then they have the Kriko, and they keep the Nano on the Kriko. They probably should have gone to the Lucio instead. But they stick to this into the D.Va, and it just doesn't flourish for them. They might have even been testing things out. I'm not sure. Only they will know. But anyway, they go hard on the Sojourn. You're the damage. We'll just kill you. And Panthera have big ult advantage. They're still not Kriko ulted yet, but they're going to be at least one up into the final fight. Let's push the Hog. Make Ana run away. Hidden loses to the Ana. And now things look a little bit spooktastic. Whole Hog from 2. Top Dragon is 77% to a pulse bomb. It's one fight. Okay. Panthera, we have to look at this again. This is probably the mental booming of a lifetime now. How do they lose this fight? How do they cover themselves in baked beans here? Let's go on slow speed again. So, they hard dive Ade, kill Ade. That was Hidden's Sojourn ult. So they kill their Sojourn. And for a change, Panthera are all together. They force the TP away from Lee Soo-min. So I think they want to push Lee Soo-min now. They go into the room. Protect is looking at the room as well. Hidden is looking for Top Dragon. I guess they've scouted that he's gone behind. And look at this. This is huge. This is big brain Tracer play. If they push aggressive on the defense to kill people before the fight starts, go push the cart as Tracer. You force them to turn around. They have to play the objective. And I think this is what's going to fragment the team now. They're going to see this, and they're going to shit the bed. So Lego is now gone like, shit, I have to touch. So Lego is going back to deal with this. Protect gets hooked, and he's in a small room with a Roadhog and a Kiriko, and he's just getting brutally murdered. They all push in. So right now, Protect is trying to kill Kiriko. That Kiriko is trying to kill the Roadhog. Hidden is trying to kill the Ana. And I think Nice is trying to kill the Hog as well. They get Lee Soo-min, so they do get the Kiriko. But look at Lego's health right now. He's fighting Top Dragon in the cart. Then there's no simple way to put this. Hidden just chokes this. He gets 1v1'd by Sanguinar. They Kiriko ult this as well, by the way. Top Dragon kills Lego in the cart. We're now in an even fight. Now 2 is coming to the cart. Sanguinar is going to respawn fairly soon, but there's no supports in this fight. If you have no supports in a fight, what hero do you want to be on? Probably Roadhog, because he can fucking heal himself and be a tanky motherfucker. Also, he has Whole Hog. Look at all these walls. This is pretty bad. And Protect has probably used a lot of his DM, is my guess. So now they're like, oh shit, it's a 3v3, but our spawns are closer. Protect, hooked. There goes the DM. Kiriko, as good as she's on heals, can't burst heal that well. They used the Suzu while they were DMing, that's another misplay. They had 2 forms of invulnerability at the same time. Protect gets demeched, gets killed. Top Dragon does really well here. And now it's Tracer v Tracer. Anna's got back already. The Kiriko will be back fairly soon. Lego is respawned and just got killed immediately by Ade. Lego is having a rough time right now. And they have to yield it. Retrospectively, for Panthera, as soon as they killed Ade, they should have just backed the cart, I think. I think that would have been the smarter play. You would have forced SBG to take a 4v5 on cart. Someone would have had to stay on the cart. They probably would have nano the Hog. I guess they might have been afraid of nano Whole Hog. But they just went... It was a mix between them going too deep and expecting Lego to 1v1 Top Dragon. Or at least, like, hold him off until they can get back. And he simply couldn't. It wouldn't surprise me either, and it's hard to see this without the replay viewer. I wouldn't be surprised if offered TP to Lego as well to try and keep him alive, and Top Dragon got the kill. Which would explain how Hidden gets brutally murdered. Because of, you know, F's off to try and help Lego. Anyway, SVG gets the 3rd point by just miracles, honestly. Protected again, he's playing the flank Diva. I'm going to sit on your backline. I'm just going to make your Ana's life a misery. Look at fucking Protect. He's just hunting down the Ana. Lee Soo-min can't heal because the Paver gets eaten by Diva. Ana can't heal. She can't nade herself either. Protect has to use a Diva Bomb, forces him to a tight corridor, and Nice gets a double pulse bomb kill because of it. Very nice. They still have the nano as well, so I think SVG are going to stay on this. Even though Sanguinar basically can't do anything. I think they're looking for Nano Sojourn now, without the blade. And there's not enough time to build a blade, so they're sticking with this. Big hook onto Protect. The Nano goes into Top Dragon, so they put it onto the Tracer instead. Don't get too much value. They do get a little bit of distance, though. They give them the, you know, the good old F off at that point. Sanguinar kills Lego somehow. But the trades right now are massively favouring Panthera. Unfortunately, they're not trading at this point. They're losing people rapidly. Again, just Protect going off on his own, hunting people down. Double Karika ult, this is, you know, it's anyone's game at this point. And they should not have got to this point. Big Ana anti as well to Protect through the DM. Protect gets destroyed. Enjoy playing the game. Top Dragon puts pressure onto Nice. Has a Pulse Bomb kill here. Probably ends the fight. They're nearly on a Nano again. Break, big. I don't know if it hits the Karika then. I think it might be Lee Su-min hits a headshot, or it was Ade. They've nanoed Kariko. I repeat, they nanoed Kariko. It might even just be for tempo. But a Diva Bomb on the point at the very end. Gets a double kill. And now it should be impossible for them to win. And then they win. No, they don't win. The spawn is way too close there to, you know, fight against. Alright, we're going to fly into the second game. I need to feed my cats in a moment's time. Okay, that's too much flying. So let's go to their attack. So SPG on the defense have gone to this Hog Ana comp. Pretty interesting. Panthera playing the usual. They've kind of decided that we can beat them with the Hog comp. Or at least I think they might decide that they could match them on it. It might be a bit of inflexibility from Panthera though, not being able to play the Winston comp as well. I know you wouldn't want to play the Winston here. They go to the Sigma comp, this is the counter to it. They don't pick the Diva though, interestingly. That was a huge fucking click by Lee Su-min. Yeah, a headshot there, by the way, which is why his health evaporated as he walked around the corner. They have made an amendment to this, though, Panthera. Instead of going for the Ana, the Diva to deal with the Ana, they've gone for Sigma and BAP. So they've forgone their Lucio speed. And this is really pokey now. This is like full poke now. They're not going to rush at you. They're not going to run someone down. They're going to sit behind the Sigma shield and just melt people down. It's going to make 2's life really hard. They also have a counter to being anted. They have a lamp. Plus cleanse. 2 forms of invulnerability, by the way. Very fun. On cooldowns, not ultimates.
Because the Genji is going to have a lot more freedom to work with, right? And I don't know that necessarily...
Well, I feel like this is starting to put all your eggs into the hidden basket. You're giving a window for hidden, you're giving your Karika ult probably mainly for hidden. Sigma doesn't do bad into the Karika ult, but not as good as hidden. Sojourn. It might have also just been Legos just fed up with playing Lucio and getting hooked on cooldown. There's an anti. Possibly the lamp was used then as well, but they had the lamp to keep him alive. Panthera are holding together for a change, which you kind of have to if you're playing this type of comp. And they get murdered in a room. Sanguinar dies again. The interesting thing now, though, is does Sanguinar stay on the Ana? 93 to a Nano? They do. But it's dangerous to play in, like... It's like a mix. You don't want to fight someone in a closed room, but equally, if you have 2 people on the other end of the corridor shooting down into a closed room, and they have a Genji, you could be in a world of hurt. If someone gets very low, Genji dashes in, gets a dash reset, dashes back out, again, ideally with a ghost dash for style points. That makes someone else low. They might get killed, Genji gets a dash reset, and Genji in a tight room can do some very, very horrible things. I remember from... God, this was so long ago. I can't even remember what the tournament was. It was pre-Owl. I remember, I think it was Agility's got a 6K on Gibraltar on the stairs in a tight room, just dash resetting through it.
Normally. However, the one difference is when Panthera realm, not a one-dimensional composition. You can
Also, Ade has no problem now getting charge on Sojourn. You can shoot the shield. It's not great shield break, admittedly, but it does put a threat up there. Lego gets Top Dragon. He then gets Ade. Basically with just picks. Probably Top Dragon went a bit too aggro there. Maybe went for a kill. Importantly, though, SPG going to get another fight here. They died cart at the end. They just threw their lives to the cart, stopped the objective moving, and they're going to come back fast. They also blew the Nano there, which is fine, even if it was, you know, subpar, because they've now got Sanguinar back on the Lucio. Which means, if on Panthera anyone gets run down by this comp, they're dead. They can't escape. They don't have speed anymore. Bad whiff for Protect on the Rock. Nice big Pulse Bomb. This is the window, plus Sojourn ult, plus a Pulse Bomb. They're like, fuck you. They also Sigma ulted, that's 4 ultimates. Like, we're playing the second point, alright? We'll just save Kiriko, that's all we need, right? And now SPG have made a substitution. And Panthera make a substitution. Subs all around. Panthera like, okay, we're going to go to the Anno then, if you're playing the fucking Roadhog. It's like, we'll just anti you. For a brief moment, SPG were like, okay, we'll play the BAP as well then. And I'll go like, okay, we'll play the Anna. And then the Panthera, we're going to play the Lucian. No, we're going to play the BAP. We're going to play the Sigma. Him, me, you, me. Just the side of the spawn room just changing. Rock, paper, scissors here. They eventually settle on this, but here comes the BAP again. BAP, way more shield break. It's going to make the Sigma's life harder again, and now we have a lamp, too. I will say this is a little bit of a weird comp, though. I never really enjoyed playing BAP with Genji. I know it has been played in, like, you know, AL level before, but it's pretty hard to get your heals on the Genji with the BAP. It's probably something that the Kiriko is going to be looking at doing more. You're really probably just pocketing your Roadhog / Sojourn. But Window Sojourn is, as you saw in that last fight, a lot of damage. It's a 50% damage increase. It probably takes the headshot kill to like 40, something 48 maybe? There or thereabouts. For charge to get a headshot kill on 200 squishy. Lego is brutally murdered, but to be fair, that was the blade, and he got solar bladed. Off pops the Greek ult. Kills Top Dragon. They trade Dragon Blade for Greek ult. Is that a good trade for SPG? Yes. Without a doubt. I would trade Dragon Blade for Greek ult every day. Especially when my spawn is probably equally close. Also, by the way, just going to point this out. SPG have not really contested the cart. They've kind of let it just freely move. Top Dragon goes to the Tracing right now, and I think it is in part to help deal with the cart. Because Panthera are just walking it in at the moment. Nice has just been sat on the cart, just going like, I'm having a lovely time. I'm getting, well, not gold objective time anymore, but they're imagining the time when they could get gold objective time. Top Dragon kills Hidden. God knows where he was. But it's just really bitty again. There's people all over the place. They stop the cart eventually. Nice gets killed for his troubles. He does basically push the cart all this way on his own, though. Interesting place to fight the Hog. Has to Suzu himself off. That's Lego's ass dead again. There does seem to be a little bit of a miscommunication between Off and Lego right now. They just seem to be getting caught out a little bit too much. I'd also mentioned, I should have mentioned it, BAP doesn't have a great time into Roadhog. I think this is part of the reason why they've done this. Because if you lamp yourself as BAP, Roadhog can just hook you out of it. It's kind of that logic. It's pretty minor, but that's Lego going off the BAP now. He's like, I can't play BAP into this anymore. We'll go back to the Lucio. Is Protect going to stay on the Sigma? Protect goes to the Diva now. And finally, SPG has got the swap I think they were hoping for. This Diva-based comp I don't think is as strong. It's probably only good into the Ana. They're playing BAP. So I think this is the comp that SPG would probably be considering is fine. That being said, if Sanguinar dies, I'd expect to see him go back onto the Lucio again. Protect is hard pushing the Sojourn. He's like, get off this high ground, it's mine now. Nice wins the 1v1 there. 2 gets the Kriko, that's by far a bigger pick. Nice continues to push the cart. He's like, we're not letting this roll back anymore. But they've basically used Sojourn ult to trade the fight, which you'll take. 1 pick each side, and the cart basically just stays where it was. You're just burning time off the clock. And there's a window coming up. Top Dragon would love it, hit a pulse bomb. Doesn't quite get it. Sanguinar lamps himself to keep himself alive. They do pop the window, and I'm going to guess that Sojourn was there because they both get murdered by Hidden. So Hidden just fucking flexes on them. You have a window, Ade? Ha! I laughed at your pathetic window. I'll headshot you both through it. Actually, he doesn't headshot here. Nice actually finishes off the kill with a melee. And I don't think this is a head. Actually, I don't know if you can see the headshot on this ability usage. I don't know if it goes red. I don't think it does. So maybe it was a headshot. They're looking pretty good now. Lego gets a kill. Sanguinar, nope. I'm not playing the BAP anymore. Let's go into Lucio. Speed. So now if you come at me with D.Va, I will boop you away. I will speed my DPS away. Lee Summon Jin is just like, I'm looking a little bit sussy. Sussy. Goes to murder Hidden, misses a shot, but it doesn't matter, I can TP you away. And they said, okay, we're going to fight you here. Which is an interesting choice. I think they might be trying to burn an ult out here. I don't know if D.Va Bomb was the ult they were looking for. Great dodge there from Lee Sumin. You can tell someone's experienced by fucking dodging on the stairs like that at the last second. He was confident. Nice dismurdered. Protect died, by the way, before he could remech. So now they're going to have to ult to get out of spawn. They're going to get spawn camped. This 3 are just going around the map. Ah! Oh, slow motion me. I lost. I've lost NNN. I'm sorry. There's nothing more satisfying on Hog. Boom. And just deletes them. That's now terrible because I think Hidden was the one with them as well. I think it was... No, was it Hidden? I'm not sure. Lego was with them. I think there's a third one. It's Hidden or Protect. I'm pretty certain it's Hidden. They can't really do that much behind them. And at the end of the day, SBG can always just either chase these guys behind them, or they can just run into the spawn and spawn camp. Protect goes back over to the Hog, because, you know, he can't play D.Va anymore. There's just nothing for him to really do with it. And SBG decided we're going to have a nice game of spawn camping. It is Hidden that's gone behind him, I think. Hidden gets a big pick on the Kriko. Yeah, it was Hidden. As long as they don't use an ultimate here, it's not the end of the world. But they're going to get 3 fights now on third, sorry. So they got 2 fights on second in the end. Well, at least 2 fights. And they've had 3 on third. And by fights, I mean positions where they fought at. Hitting gets another pick. Things are looking a bit scary right now. But they did get a pick. They picked the enemy team's Sojourn. What did I say since the start of the video? The linchpin of this deck? The deck. Fuck me, my mind is breaking right now. The real, like, backbone, the linchpin, whatever you want to call it, of this comp, Kriko and Sojourn. Sojourn is your damage. Kriko, like, enables the damage. Losing your Sojourn means you're going to struggle to win the fight in the long run. Panthera have recognised this. They're going aggressive. They're probably aware of the ult disadvantage as well. They popped the Kriko ult to win that fight. That's a big ultimate that they don't have anymore. Sanguinar's gone off to Lucio. He's gone to Anna. He's going to make Protect Life a misery. It's only 1 fight now. And they have to win it with a beat. They have to deal with Kriko, Sojourn, Pulse Bomb. There goes the beat early. Lego, I think, got antied and had to beat himself. Ade has also popped his ult. Maybe it might have even just been on the Kriko ult. Let's look at this. I think it is the Kriko ult, to be fair. He just gets antied at the same time. Where did your beat come? No, he beats early. He beats Sojourn ult. Also, Protect is low. then gets anted, gets dinked as well, I think, by Ade, who pops his ult, and they pop the Krieger ult. They basically went like, okay, we're waiting for your beat. Your beat is the only thing that can stop the Krieger just mauling you. And even then, it's only really like, it's going to keep you alive for a bit while you find cover. They just get in an unwinnable situation. They have to push into Krieger ult, and it's just not possible at this level. It's so powerful. Well played from SPG. They recognize this. Whole Hog and Whole Hog of the Krieger ult. Disgusting damage. The spawn is right here now. Hidden doesn't get to use his ult. How close was he? Oh, he's alive. So he gets it. He's just in a really bad position, so he can't use it. He probably should... Oh, I say he should use it. They probably think they can get one more fight here. Fucking Sojourn. Did you see how much health Protect had when you got headshot? 100% charge. Goodbye your health pool. That was like 300 health gone. I mean, it wasn't. It was 270, I guess. But it was so much. Disgusting amounts. Now they're hoping that Nice touches the point. They have an ult advantage. Protect decides he can't use the Whole Hog. It's not worth saving. I need to come back fast hero. The only hero that makes sense to come back is now is D.Va, because otherwise you're going to get anted continuously and have a miserable life. Sanguinars and Nano, you have to push into a Nano. Nice gets the touch, but they're basically dribbling into the point right now. Hitting big pick, but look where the spawn is. They nanoed the Hog. You can't kill 2U anymore. He's just a demon. I'll just stand on the cart. Don't worry about me. I'll just chunk the D.Va down. There goes all your health. And this isn't good enough. Panthera basically has to have a perfectly clean fight to win this. Ade comes back on the Hanzo. Say hello to Hanzo. It's the last you're going to see of him. Because this is game over. SBG, I think... With the map record, they were behind. I think they finished ahead of Panthera in the end. I think SBG ended up being second place on the contenders ladder. They both ended on a 5-2 record. And I'm pretty certain SBG's is better. So we'll see how they do in the playoffs, which are coming up, I think that tomorrow? It's 27th or 28th. Check it out. Admittedly, the contenders website is garbage. I'll leave this game as well as a link in the description. If you enjoyed going through this video, then let me know in the comments below, and maybe we'll do this a little bit more frequently. Maybe we'll look at other contenders games. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. As I said, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time to see what, other meta comps are being run right now. Goodbye.